Without any warning, I got the news that my mother-in-law had passed away. Naturally, I wanted to attend the funeral, but my husband yelled at me. "Don't you dare come. Do you understand? What kind of daughter-in-law wouldn't go to the funeral? My mom hated you. Don't even think about showing up, you'll just be a nuisance." Although my relationship with my mother-in-law was never close, she was still gone, and not attending the funeral as her daughter-in-law felt very disrespectful. Ignoring my husband's words, I decided to go to the funeral home, even though it was a bit far away. When I arrived, I saw my husband leading the mourning rituals. Wait, what's going on here? Whose funeral is this? What I discovered next was a shocking truth that was hard to believe. My name is Sophia. I'm 30 years old, and I've been married to my husband William for 3 years. Things were good back then, but not anymore. I won't sugarcoat it, I'm not happy with my marriage. The main problem is my husband. I became a housewife after we got married because when he proposed, he asked me to quit my job and stay home. Since I was just an office worker without much passion for my job, I agreed and quit, but that was a mistake. In the first year of our marriage, things were relatively fine, but in the second year, things changed. I used to get $11,000 a month from my husband for living expenses, but suddenly it was cut down to $500. "William, making ends meet with just $500 is impossible," I said. "I'm covering the rent. All you have to worry about is utilities and groceries, right?" he replied. But even for basic household items, $500 wasn't enough, especially when you consider utilities and food. "You're supposed to make it work, aren't you? You're living on my income, so figure it out," he said. In the end, he wouldn't budge, so I had no choice but to make do with the $500, no matter how hard it was. My husband eats more than the average person, which makes things even harder. After a year of living off my savings, I watched my balance shrink steadily since I had no income. Every time I checked, the number got smaller and smaller, and it filled me with a deep sense of dread. What will happen to me when the account hits zero? $500 just isn't enough, no matter how hard I try. William shows no signs of increasing the household budget. What am I supposed to do? That's when I decided it was time to go back to work. Even if I could only find a part-time job, I might be able to earn between $800 and $900 a month, which would make life easier. That night, when I suggested the idea to my husband, he reacted strongly, almost in shock. "Work? You can't be serious." "No way," he said. "Why not? It would give us more breathing room," I replied. "If life is tough, it's because you're bad at budgeting. It's your fault," he shot back. "I've done all I can, but life is still hard. That's why I've been considering other options." Playing the victim. "Huh? You only live because of me. How dare you even suggest that?" His dismissive tone fueled my growing anger, and before I knew it, I was yelling at him louder than I ever thought I could. "Enough is enough. You're the one who wanted me to be a housewife. Since when does yelling solve anything? I just want you to understand, how can anyone make ends meet with just $500? Shut up. Stop blaming others and figure something else out. You loser," he spat, pushing me aside and storming out of the living room. I fell to the floor, tears streaming down my face. Why is this happening? All I wanted was a peaceful married life. I always felt the need to talk to someone about my worries, but my parents live far away, and visiting them isn't easy. I couldn't stay silent anymore, so I tried to talk things out. On the other hand, my in-laws live only an hour away by car, but my husband doesn't get along with them, so we've had no contact with them since we got married. Talking to my in-laws was pretty much out of the question. After getting married, I moved closer to my husband's workplace, making it difficult and expensive to meet up with my old friends. As for my friends back home, I can only imagine what they'd say if I tried to meet up with them. So here I was, living in fear of my own husband. Then, things started to change. Recently, my husband has been spending less time at home. He started working late and going on more business trips, so he's rarely home for dinner. If he's not eating at home, I don't need to buy as many groceries, which helps me manage with the $500 he gives me each month. Also, I've started working from home and now make about $700 a month. I've begun enjoying a more independent lifestyle, especially when he's not around, and this has been going on for about a year now. Lately, My husband has been too busy with work to come home much, but when he does, he treats me terribly and shouts insults at me. Recently, he hasn't even been giving me any money for living expenses. Then one day, something unexpected happened. When my husband came home from work, he seemed really shaken. Without any warning, he blurted out, "My mom is dead." "Wait, what? Are you joking?" I asked, stunned. "Why would I lie about something like this?" he yelled back. "But your mom was still young. I'll go to the funeral with you the day after tomorrow," I said. He caught me off guard with his response. "No, you stay here." "What do you mean? Why would you go alone to your mother's funeral?" I asked, confused. "She's my mom, so I should be the one to go. You don't need to come," he said. "Wait a minute, that's ridiculous. She's my mother-in-law too," I protested. "That doesn't matter. I'm enough for my mom's funeral," he insisted. "Are you serious?" I couldn't understand his reasoning, and my frustration grew. His impatience was obvious as he said, "Just don't come to the funeral, got it?" "What are you talking about? What kind of daughter-in-law doesn't attend her mother-in-law's funeral?" "Enough. Mom hated you, okay? Just don't show up at the funeral." "What? My mother-in-law hated me?" "Yes, exactly. So even if you did come to the funeral, my deceased mom wouldn't be happy." I can't believe this. My chest hurt as the harsh truth hit me. Seeing my reaction, my husband sighed in annoyance. "Enough already. If mom hated you, Dad feels the same. Your presence would just make everyone uncomfortable." "Fine, I get it. Just stop," I said, feeling defeated. "Good, don't come to the funeral," he said, pressured by my husband. All I could do was nod. 2 days later, early in the morning, my husband was busily getting ready, quickly putting on his clothes. When he went to the bathroom, I picked up his discarded pajamas. That's when I noticed his phone left open on the table. It looked like he had been checking out the venue for today. The driving directions were up on the screen. It was about a 40-minute drive from home. Something felt off. Wait, something's not right. That direction isn't toward William's family home. It would take at least an hour and a half to get there from his parents' house. Why would they choose a location so far away? Caught up in these thoughts, my husband returned from the bathroom. Having finished setting his hair, I quickly moved away, pajamas in hand, making sure he didn't notice I'd seen his phone. He said, "I'm leaving," and walked out the door. Still feeling uneasy, I decided to attend my mother-in-law's funeral, dressed in mourning clothes. When I arrived, I couldn't believe my eyes. The seats for the family and staff were filled with unfamiliar faces, and there was my husband, giving a speech as the chief mourner. "Thank you all for gathering here today in honor of my wife," he said. "My wife, Riley?" I watched in shock as William shed tears, pretending to be a grieving husband. Normally, I would have confronted him right away, but I couldn't bring myself to break the solemn atmosphere. Just then, I overheard a conversation between some women sitting behind me. "Did you hear? The chief mourner is divorced." "Really? He seems so steady." "Yeah, his previous wife was a handful. You know, apparently, she left him with a huge debt. That's troublesome." Finally, she left the divorce papers and walked out. He met his current wife soon after, even knowing she was sick and wouldn't live long. They got married because they were in love. So it's a love story. Huh? Debt? Leaving? I had never done any such thing. Anger boiled inside me as I realized the story had been twisted. I had to check for myself. Upon investigation, I discovered that our divorce had been finalized about 6 months ago. My husband probably met his now sick wife soon after our divorce and married her. The reason he hardly came home was that he was living a newlywed life with her. As I connected the dots, my anger reached its peak. He had me removed from the family register and married another woman behind my back. Enough with the insults already. This was it. I'd had enough. It was time for reckoning. With revenge in mind, I hailed a taxi and headed straight for my mother-in-law's place, where I suspected she'd be. I directed the driver as best as I could remember, and somehow, we made it. I rang the doorbell, and with a cheerful hello, my lively mother-in-law appeared. Her eyes widened as soon as she saw me. "Oh my, Sophia, is that you? Long time no see," she exclaimed. "Mother-in-law, you look well. You look good too." "Sophia, What brings you here? I came unannounced, but there's something urgent I need to talk to you about, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Something you have to tell me? Yes, of course. I told my mother-in-law everything that had happened, how I'd been mistreated by my husband, how I wasn't getting enough for living expenses, and even the fact that he had already divorced me. As I spoke, tears welled up, and I began to sob. My mother-in-law gently rubbed my back to comfort me. Sophia, I'm so sorry you've had to go through all this. My idiot son. Please forgive me. It's okay. I should apologize for showing up and talking about this. Why didn't you come to me sooner? William told me you didn't like me. What? He told me you didn't like me, I replied, finally realizing what had been going on. It hit me then. My mother-in-law and I had been deliberately kept apart. My husband probably thought it would be troublesome if she and I got along, especially if it went against his plans. Meanwhile, without my knowledge, he'd apparently asked his family for financial help multiple times, blaming it all on me. Sophia's sick and needs money, he'd say. Sophia can't work, so things are tight. Please help, for Sophia's sake, and so on. But I was neither sick nor unable to work, it was just what William had told me to do. Now that I knew the truth, I felt a mix of relief and rage. I had nothing to lose anymore. Fighting my fear, I shared my plan for revenge with my mother-in-law and decided to return to the funeral. Although the service had ended, a few people were still around. I approached one of them and asked, "Excuse me, do you know where the deceased's family lives? I couldn't make it to the funeral, and I want to bring some flowers later." Pretending to be an acquaintance, I managed to get the address of my husband's mistress's family home. The next day, I took some funeral flowers and headed to their place. When I rang the doorbell, a woman who looked quite worn, probably from the grief of losing her daughter, answered. It was likely the mistress's mother. I introduced myself as a friend and was invited inside. Once led to the room with the family altar, I saw my husband there. "Sophia, what are you doing here?" he exclaimed. As soon as he said my name, my husband quickly covered his mouth. The father of the mistress turned to William and asked, "What's going on?" That's when I let it all out. "I'm sorry for lying. I am this man's ex-wife." "Ex-wife? Why would you be here?" the father asked, confused. "Your daughter and I were both deceived by this man," I began, my voice trembling with emotion. "I found out just yesterday, at Riley's funeral, that I was divorced." What does that mean?" Riley's father asked, now visibly angry. "He told me it was my mother-in-law's funeral and told me not to come. I suspected something was off, so I followed him, only to find out it was the funeral of his new wife," I explained. "What's the meaning of this, William? Explain yourself," Riley's father demanded. At the sound of his furious voice, William's face turned pale, and he looked down, unable to meet anyone's eyes. The atmosphere, once heavy with sorrow, shifted dramatically as the truth began to unfold. As if sensing his wrongdoing, Riley's father's face turned beet red, and his body trembled with anger. Amidst all this, I prepared to execute my final act of revenge. Just then, the doorbell rang, and Riley's mother went to answer it. When she returned, she was accompanied by my mother-in-law. "Mom," William stammered, sweat breaking out on his forehead as he visibly shook. My mother-in-law didn't waste any time. She proceeded to give him a piece of her mind. "Causing trouble for others, what do you think you're doing? Pay back the money you borrowed from us right now, and don't you dare blame Sophia," she scolded. "Wait, Mom, this is not the time to. You owe an apology to Sophia, to that woman, and even to your parents right here, right now. Do you even understand what you've done? Declaring me dead and removing Sophia from the family registry, that's the height of disrespect. Mom, can we talk about this later? This isn't the place to." "That's exactly why it's the right place. It would be unfair to the other woman and your parents if I didn't say something. I'm here to make sure everyone knows what a loser you are," my mother-in-law declared. Riley's father, now enraged, grabbed William by the collar and shouted, "You've got to be kidding me." Terrified, William started to cry on the spot. It turned out that William had lied to Riley's father about needing money for Riley and had borrowed from him. Upon questioning, it was revealed that William had gambled away all the money. In the end, William was kicked out of Riley's house and faced legal actions. Ignoring his tearful face, I turned my back with my mother-in-law and started to walk away. But just then, a desperate voice called out from behind. "Wait, Sophia." I turned around slowly. "What?" I asked. "I'm really sorry, can we start over?" he pleaded. "Excuse me?" I said, incredulous. "If you don't help me, I'll be sued," he cried. "Don't worry, I plan on suing you too," I replied calmly. "What?" he stammered, shocked. I had already made up my mind. After all the unfair treatment and the fake divorce papers, I was determined to take legal action. "Please forgive me," he begged. But I was fuming. I unleashed all my pent-up emotions on him. "Do you think saying sorry will make everything okay? Do you even understand what you've done? Filing for divorce without telling me is illegal. Your apologies are worthless because you've been lying and manipulating people for money. Utterly worthless," I said, my voice rising. "Sophia, please, wait," he pleaded again. "Quiet," I snapped. "Do you have any idea how many people you've hurt with your actions? What you've done isn't something that can be easily forgiven. Even a lifetime of making amends won't be enough. So from now on, stay out of my life. If you show up again, I won't hesitate to ruin you." As I spoke assertively, my mother-in-law gently touched my back, her warmth almost bringing me to tears. In the end, William had to pay back the $10,000 he borrowed from Riley's father in one lump sum. Additionally, he had to pay me alimony and a fine for forgery. His salary was never that high to begin with, so the financial hit hurt him badly. He even had to go into debt to pay the alimony, and now he's getting collection calls at work. It's only a matter of time before he loses his job. As for me, I went back to my old job right after the divorce. Now, I'm living in an apartment near my workplace and enjoying peaceful days. Since then, I've been meeting with my mother-in-law regularly, updating each other on our lives. Our relationship has deepened even more after the divorce. My mother-in-law, who stood by me as we confronted her own son, has become like a second mother to me, and I plan to cherish her as such from now on.
The couch springs dig into my back as I stare at the ceiling, counting water stains like sheep. 3 months of sleeping here, and I still can't get used to it. My childhood home has never felt more foreign, or more suffocating. I'm Jayla, 36, and this isn't where I pictured myself at this stage of life. But here I am, curled up under a scratchy blanket that smells like mothballs, listening to my mother's passive-aggressive sighs every time she passes through the living room. "Jayla, honey." Mum's voice carries that familiar sugary venom. "Could you please fold up your bedding before Xavier and Riley arrive? We wouldn't want them thinking we're running a shelter here." I bite my tongue and start folding the blanket. The front door opens, and my brother's perfect white teeth appear before the rest of him does. Riley trails behind him, designer handbag first. "Mum!" Xavier embraces her while I tuck my pillow behind the couch. "The house looks amazing, as always. Unlike some parts of it," Riley whispers, loud enough for me to hear. My mother laughs, actually laughs at that. "Xavier, darling, I prepared your old room for you both. Fresh sheets, everything." My old room, the one I wasn't allowed to sleep in when I came back because Xavier and Riley need their space when they visit. The golden couple gets the bedroom, while the divorced failure gets the lumpy couch. "Thanks, Mum," Xavier says. "Hey, sis, still. Here? Where else would she go?" Riley smirks, adjusting her diamond engagement ring so it catches the light. I force a smile, just until I get back on my feet. "It's been 3 months, my mother reminds me, as if I could forget. "Your father and I are concerned." The front door opens again, and Dad walks in from his morning golf game. He barely glances my way before brightening at the sight of Xavier. "Son, didn't know you were coming today." "Surprise visit?" Xavier grins. "Had to show Mum and Dad the plans for the new dental practice." "That's my boy," Dad beams. "Always planning ahead, always moving forward, unlike—" He doesn't finish the sentence. He doesn't have to. I slip out to the back porch, needing air. Through the kitchen window, I hear them gathering around the dining table, voices animated as Xavier spreads out his business plans. My mother's voice carries, "This is what success looks like." My phone buzzes. A notification from my freelance platform. Another 5-star review and payment cleared. They don't know about my growing business. They don't ask, and I stop trying to tell them. Night falls and the house quiets. Xavier and Riley retreat to my old room, while my parents head upstairs. I wait until the lights go out before grabbing my jacket. The night air is crisp as I walk down our street, past manicured lawns and luxury cars. I stop at number 42, the crown jewel of the neighbourhood. 3 stories of modern architecture and floor-to-ceiling windows. Even in darkness, it commands attention. I press my palm against the cold metal gate, a smile playing at my lips. My phone buzzes again, a text from Luca, my realtor. "Papers are ready. Sure you want to do this?" My fingers hover over the keyboard as I look back at my parents' house, where they've relegated me to the couch like some cautionary tale. "Absolutely," I type back. "Time to show them what failure looks like." Another message from Luca. "Meeting tomorrow, 9 a.m. Bring the cashier's check." I take one last look at the mansion. Through the gates, I can see the "For Sale" sign, barely visible in the moonlight. Soon that sign will come down. Soon they'll all see what I've been building while they were busy dismissing me. My phone lights up with a final text from my mother. "Don't forget to fold your bedding in the morning. The neighbours can see the couch through the window." I pocket my phone without responding and start walking back. Let them worry about what the neighbours think. Let them fret about appearances and reputations. They have no idea what's coming. The couch springs creak as I lie down, but tonight they don't bother me as much. I close my eyes, mentally counting down the days until I never have to sleep here again. Until I can stand in my own home, the biggest one on the street, and watch their faces when they realise that their failure of a daughter now owns the house they've envied for years. Sometimes the best revenge isn't served cold. Sometimes it's built quietly, brick by brick, while they're too busy looking down their noses to notice you rising. "Riley just got promoted to senior account manager." My mother's voice rings with a kind of pride she's never used when talking about me. "Isn't that wonderful, jailer?" I push my peas around my plate, feeling all eyes at the dinner table fixed on me. "Congratulations, Riley." "Thank you," Riley preens. "The firm really values dedication and commitment. You know, sticking with things even when they get tough." The dig isn't subtle. Neither is Xavier's smirk. "Speaking of work," I start. "My online business has been—" "Oh, those little internet things?" Mum waves her hand dismissively. "Thomas, did you hear about the Hendersons' new pool?" I clench my fork tighter. Another 5-figure payment had cleared this morning, but they'd rather discuss the neighbours' landscaping. "Actually," I try again, "I just landed a major client in—" "Jailer," Dad cuts in. "Perhaps instead of these computer games, you should let Xavier help you find a real job at his practice. Something stable." Xavier straightens up. "We could always use someone to answer phones." "I make more in a week than your receptionist makes in a month," I mutter. "What was that, dear?" Mum's tone sharpens. "Nothing." I stand up, gathering my plate. "Thank you for dinner." In the kitchen, I start washing dishes, but freeze when I hear my parents' voices from the dining room. "How long are we going to let her stay here?" Dad sighs. "What choice do we have? She's damaged goods now. No husband, no real job. The neighbours are starting to talk. Did you see Margaret's face when she noticed the pillow on our couch? At least Xavier gives us something to be proud of." I set down the plate before I break it. Grabbing my jacket, I head for the door. "Where are you going?" Mum calls out. "For a walk." "At this hour, what will people think?" I let the door answer for me. The night air helps, but my hands are still shaking as I walk my usual route. The mansion looms ahead, its windows dark except for one. A figure moves inside, probably the realtor doing a late showing. We meet again. I jump at the voice behind me. Luca steps out of the shadows, his realtor's smile softer in the streetlight. "Checking up on your future kingdom?" "Just walking." "At this hour?" He mimics my mother's tone perfectly, making me laugh despite myself. "The paperwork's nearly ready," he says more seriously. "But I have to ask, why this house? There are cheaper options that would still make your point." I think about the dining room conversation, about years of being the family disappointment. Because sometimes enough isn't enough. "Fair enough." He hands me a folder. "Preliminary inspection report. Thought you might want to review it before tomorrow." Our fingers brush as I take it. Thanks. You didn't have to come out here. Maybe I wanted to. His eyes meet mine. You know, there's a great coffee shop around the corner. Open late. For a moment, I'm tempted. But then I remember the last time I trusted someone's kindness. My ex-husband's face flashes in my mind. His charm, his promises, the way he smiled while telling the divorce court I'd never amount to anything. I should head back, I say. More dishes to wash. Luca nods, understanding in his eyes. Tomorrow then. 9 a.m. Don't forget the check. I watch him walk away, then turn back toward my parents' house. Through the window, I can see them all still at the table, the perfect family portrait, minus the black sheep. My phone buzzes. Another client request, another opportunity they'll never acknowledge. That's fine. Let them think I spend my nights walking off shame and failure. Let them wonder why I disappear with my laptop for hours. They'll understand soon enough. Back inside, I hear Riley's voice from the kitchen. I just feel so bad for her. 36 and sleeping on a couch? I would die. Don't worry, Xavier replies. Once we're married, we'll never end up like that. I clear my throat as I enter, enjoying how they jump. You're right, Riley. You would die. Fortunately, I'm made of stronger stuff. Jayla, she starts, but I'm already heading to my couch. I pull out my laptop, opening the inspection report Luca gave me. The mansion's details swim before my eyes. Square footage, property taxes, recent renovations. All mine soon, bought with the money I earned while they thought I was just browsing social media. Mum walks by, tutting at my screen time. If she looked closer, she'd see 6 figures in my business account. But she doesn't look closer. None of them do. That's their mistake, not mine. I wasn't snooping. Not really. I was just looking for a spare phone charger in Dad's study when the papers fell from Xavier's folder. Loan applications, rejection letters, and overdue notices scattered across the floor like dirty secrets. My perfect brother, the successful dentist, was drowning in debt. What are you doing in here? I whirl around to find Xavier in the doorway, his face draining of colour as he spots the papers at my feet. Interesting reading material, I say, picking up a bank statement. Does Riley know your practice is hemorrhaging money? Give me those. He snatches the papers, hands trembling. This isn't what it looks like. No, because it looks like you're using Mum and Dad's house as collateral for loans they don't know about. His jaw clenches. You don't understand business. I understand fraud. Rich, coming from someone who can't even afford her own place. Before I can respond, Mum calls us for Sunday brunch. Xavier shoves the papers back in their folder, his warning glare clear. Keep your mouth shut. The dining room is set with Mum's best china, the set she only uses when she wants to impress. Riley sits at the table like she's posing for a magazine cover. Jayla, you could have at least dressed for brunch. Mum sighs, eyeing my casual clothes. I take my seat as Riley launches into a story about her latest client meeting. Under the table, my phone buzzes with a text from Luca. Offer accepted. Ready when you are. Speaking of success stories, Riley turns to me with a serpentine smile. Jayla, you're such a perfect example of what not to be. No offence, but your life is basically a cautionary tale. Mum laughs. Actually laughs. Riley, Xavier warns, but his fiancée continues. I mean, imagine ending up divorced and homeless at your age. This is why I always say career should come first. Right, Evelyn? My mother nods approvingly. Riley has her priorities straight. Unlike some people, Dad adds. I stand up slowly, my chair scraping against the hardwood. You're right, Riley. I am an example. I pull out my phone, dialing Luca's number. Hello? Yes, I'm ready to move forward with the purchase. Full asking price? Cash offer? The table falls silent. What purchase? Mum asks sharply. I hold up a finger as I continue my conversation. Yes, I can sign this afternoon. Perfect. I hang up and smile at their stunned faces. Sorry, just finalising some details on my new house. What house? Xavier's voice cracks. Oh, just a little place down the street. You might know it. Number 42? Mum's fork clatters to her plate. The mansion? Don't be ridiculous. Would you like to see the proof of funds, or maybe the pre-approval letter? I have them right here. I pull the documents from my bag. All those hours on my laptop, I wasn't playing games. I was building an empire while you were busy mocking me. Riley snatches the papers, her perfectly manicured nails crumpling the edges. Her eyes widen as she reads the numbers. This isn't possible, she whispers. Funny thing about rock bottom, I say, taking back my documents. It teaches you how to climb. But that house was supposed to be in the family, Mum stammers. It will be, just not the part of the family you expected. I turn to Xavier. By the way, brother dear, you might want to tell them about those loan applications before the bank does. The colour drains from his face as Mum and Dad turn to him. What is she talking about? I grab my bag and head for the door, pausing only to savour Riley's horrified expression. Thanks for brunch. And Riley? You're right. Career should come first. That's exactly what I did. Outside, Luca waits in his car. Ready to sign some papers? I slide into the passenger seat, watching through the window as chaos erupts in the dining room. Xavier gesturing wildly, Mum pressing her hands to her face, Riley standing frozen. You know, Luca says as we pull away, I've never seen someone buy a house out of spite before. Not spite, I correct him. Justice. He glances at me. The look on their faces must have been worth every penny. Oh, it was. I lean back, remembering a moment 20 years ago, teenage jailer winning first place in a state competition, only to have Xavier's second-place tennis trophy take centre stage at dinner. But this isn't just about the house. No, it's about showing them that their measuring stick was always broken. I pull out my phone as another client payment notification pops up. And sometimes the best revenge is letting people choke on their own assumptions. Luca smiles. Well then, let's go make you a homeowner. The mansion looms ahead, no longer a symbol of what I couldn't have, but a monument to what they never saw coming. Welcome to your kingdom. Luca drops the keys into my palm, the metal still warm from his hand. Want to do the honours? The front door swings open silently, revealing marble floors that stretch into infinity. Sunlight streams through floor-to-ceiling windows, painting everything in gold. My footsteps echo in the empty space. My empty space. Previous owner left some furniture, Luca says, following me inside. Said you could keep whatever you want. I run my hand along a pristine kitchen counter. It's perfect. Security systems top of the line. Here's how to... A knock at the door interrupts him. Through the glass, I see a woman in her 50s, elegant in a way that reminds me of old money. Can I help you? I ask, opening the door. I'm Rosalie. She smiles, but it doesn't reach her eyes. I used to own this house. Luca steps forward. Mrs. Smith, I wasn't expecting... No, you wouldn't be. She turns to me. May I come in? There are things you should know about this property. I glance at Luca, who shrugs. Your house now? We settle in the sunroom, Rosalie perching on the edge of a leather armchair, like she's afraid to get too comfortable. Beautiful home, isn't it? She gazes out at the garden. I didn't want to sell it. I was forced to. Forced? I lean forward. By Thomas Edwards. She watches my reaction. Your father, I believe? The room suddenly feels colder. What are you talking about? Your father and I had some business dealings years ago. When they went south, he used certain information to pressure me into selling this house well below market value. She pulls out an envelope. He wanted it for your brother, Xavier. Had it all planned out. My hands shake as I read the documents she provides. Emails, contracts, threats veiled as business proposals. Why are you showing me this? Because I recognized your name on the sale papers. Rosalie's smile turns sharp. And I believe in karma. Luca clears his throat. I should give you ladies some privacy. No, I say quickly. Stay. Please. After Rosalie leaves, I sit in silence, processing. My father's fingerprints on this house, his plans for Xavier. It's almost poetic that I bought it instead. You okay? Luca asks softly. Help me take down these drapes. We work together, pulling down heavy fabric that's blocked the light for too long. Each window we clear feels like exposing another truth. Your security code, Luca says later, programming the system. Choose something they'd never guess. I type in the date of my divorce, The day they stopped seeing me as family and started seeing me as a failure. My phone buzzes. A text from Mum. Xavier and Riley are coming for dinner tomorrow, a small engagement celebration. You'll make yourself scarce, won't you? I show Luca the message. Perfect timing. For what? For moving in. I start making calls. Movers, cleaners, designers. Time to show them what scarce really looks like. Hours pass as we prep the house. I direct furniture placement, set up my home office, arrange my belongings, all the things I've stored in a rental unit while sleeping on their couch. You've been planning this for months, Luca realizes, watching me unpack boxes of high-end electronics. Since the day they relegated me to the couch. I connect my laptop to multiple monitors. Every night they thought I was out wandering. I was working, building, planning. Remind me never to underestimate you. The sun sets as we finish the main floor. Through the windows, I can see my parents' house, looking suddenly small and shabby in comparison. One last thing. I pull out a small box, removing a framed photo. Teenage me at my graduation, standing alone while my family clustered around Xavier in his tennis uniform. Why keep that? Luca asks. To remember why I'm here. I place it on my new desk, and what I overcame. My phone buzzes again, a message from Xavier. Mum says you're moving? Where could you possibly be going? I don't respond. Let them wonder, let them worry. Tomorrow, they'll have their answer. Luca helps me set up the security cameras, angled perfectly to capture the street and their house. You know they're going to lose it when they realise, he says. That's the point. I stand at my front window, watching lights go out in their house. They wanted me invisible. Instead, I bought the one house they can't ignore. Dinner tomorrow should be interesting. Oh, I won't be at their dinner. I smile, thinking of the moving truck I've scheduled to arrive right when their little party begins. I'll be too busy moving into my mansion. Luca heads for the door, pausing with his hand on the knob. Need help tomorrow? Actually, I say, surprising myself, I'd like that. He grins. Then let's give them a show they'll never forget. The moving truck's engine cuts through the quiet afternoon just as cars start pulling up to my parents' house. Perfect timing. I watch from my new driveway as Riley's red BMW parks, followed by Xavier's leased Mercedes. Ready? Luca asks, helping the movers unload. Born ready. Mum appears on her porch, champagne flute in hand. She freezes mid-sip as I direct a designer sofa through my front door. Jayla, her voice carries across the manicured lawns. What are you doing? I wave cheerfully. Moving! Xavier and Riley emerge from the house, drawn by the commotion. Their jaws drop in perfect sync as they realise where I'm moving to. Is that? Riley squints at my new home. No way. I'm arranging flowers in my foyer when Mum storms in, not bothering to knock. What is the meaning of this? I believe it's called home ownership. I adjust a lily. You should close your mouth, Mum. The neighbours might see. This isn't possible. This house. You can't. Actually, I can. And I did. I hand her the couch blanket she'd given me. Won't be needing this anymore. She clutches the blanket like a lifeline. Your father will hear about this. Oh, I'm counting on it. Through the window, I see Riley confronting Xavier by his car, waving what looks like papers in his face. Their perfect engagement party dissolving into chaos. Those are private. Xavier tries to grab the documents. Private? Riley shrieks. Like the 3 maxed-out credit cards, the second mortgage, the gambling debts. Mum's face pales. What is she talking about? Ask your golden boy, I suggest. Or better yet, ask Dad about his history with this house. Rosalie Smith sends her regards, by the way. The colour drains completely from her face. You spoke to Rosalie? Fascinating woman, full of interesting stories about Dad's business practices. Outside, Riley throws her engagement ring at Xavier. You told me your practice was thriving. Baby, please, don't baby me. I won't be dragged down by your lies. She storms off, leaving Xavier standing there as his carefully constructed facade crumbles. Mum rushes out to damage control, leaving me alone in my new home. Well, not quite alone. Wine? Luca appears with 2 glasses. God, yes. We're enjoying the show from my front window when Rosalie arrives, right on schedule. "Quite the entertainment," she says, accepting a glass. "Though I must say, your mother looks rather unwell." The truth often has that effect. Mom's shrill voice carries through the open window. "Xavier, tell me these accusations aren't true." "Mum, I can explain." "Explain what?" Dad appears, late from golf. "What's going on? Why is Riley leaving? And why is there a moving truck at—" He stops, finally noticing me in the mansion's window. I raise my glass in greeting. "No," he whispers, loud enough for us to hear. "That's impossible." "Funny," I call out. "That's exactly what Mum said." He storms toward my door, but Luca meets him first. "This is private property, sir. Unless you're invited, I'll have to ask you to leave." "This is my daughter's house?" "Exactly," I say, joining them. "My house, my rules, my life." "Thomas," Rosalie steps forward. "Lovely to see you again. It's been what, 5 years? Since you threatened to expose my late husband's affairs unless I sold this house." Dad stumbles backward. Me." She sips her wine. "Karma's a fascinating thing, isn't it?" Mum appears behind him. "Thomas, what is she talking about?" "Nothing, dear. Just business." "Business?" Xavier laughs bitterly. "Like the business advice you gave me? Look how well that turned out." They dissolve into accusations and denials on my front lawn, the perfect family portrait shattering like dropped glass. "Should we stop them?" Luca asks. "Let them fight," Rosalie suggests. "Sometimes a family needs to break before it can heal." "This family won't heal," I say, watching Mum sink onto my front steps, head in her hands. But maybe it needed to break anyway. Xavier storms off in his Mercedes. Dad follows Mum back to their house, shoulders slumped. The engagement party guests have long since fled, leaving half-empty champagne glasses and scattered congratulation cards in their wake. "Well," Luca raises his glass, "here's to new beginnings." "And old endings," Rosalie adds. I look around my beautiful new home, then at the wreckage I've caused next door. "You know what? I don't regret a single thing." "Good," Rosalie smiles. "Because, darling, this is just the beginning." Through the window, I watch my mother close their curtains for the first time in 20 years. Finally, she's the one hiding from the neighbours' eyes. The doorbell rings at 7 a.m. Through the security camera, I see Mum standing there, perfectly coiffed despite the early hour. "Jayla, open this door immediately." I take my time walking downstairs, letting her stew. When I finally open up, she pushes past me into the foyer. "We need to discuss this situation," she announces. "Xavier needs this house." I nearly choke on my coffee. "Excuse me? It's always been his dream home. You know that." She runs her finger along a marble counter, checking for dust. "He's going through a rough patch, and this would help him get back on his feet." "Like you helped me get back on my feet? With a couch and contempt?" "That was different. You were damaged goods?" I set my mug down hard. "That's what you called me, right? When you thought I couldn't hear you?" She has the grace to flinch. "We were worried about you." "No, you were worried about what the neighbours would think. There's a difference." "Regardless." She straightens her spine. "Xavier needs this house more than you do. Name your price." I laugh. "It's not for sale." "Don't be difficult, Jayla. This petty revenge isn't a good look." "Neither is forcing Rosalie to sell through blackmail, but that didn't stop Dad." Her face goes white. "That's not... You don't understand business." "Actually, I do. Want to see my books?" I pull out my laptop. 6-figure months, Mum. While you thought I was just a failure with a computer, I built something bigger than Xavier's practice ever was. Speaking of business, a new voice calls from the doorway. Rosalie walks in, holding a thick folder. "I brought those documents we discussed." Mum's eyes narrow. "What documents?" "Oh, just some interesting paperwork about Dad's real estate dealings." I take the folder. Tax records, shell companies, threatening emails to other property owners. The board reviewing his broker's license would love to see these. "You wouldn't dare. Try me." She grabs her purse. "Your father will hear about this." "Good. Tell him the statute of limitations on fraud is longer than he thinks." After she leaves, Rosalie pours us both coffee. "That went well. Did you see her face when—" My phone buzzes. A text from Riley. Can we talk? 20 minutes later, she's sitting in my kitchen, looking less polished than usual. Xavier lied about everything, she says. The practice is drowning in debt. He gambled away our wedding fund. And now, she twists her hands. I'm pregnant. I nearly drop my mug. Does he know? No, and he won't. She looks up, tears in her eyes. I'm moving back home. I can't raise a child with someone who lies like breathing. Why are you telling me this? Because you were right. About everything. And She swallows hard. I'm sorry for how I treated you. Before I can respond, my phone rings. It's an unknown number. Is this Jailer Edwards? A formal voice asks. This is the state licensing board. We received an anonymous tip about Thomas Edwards. I catch Rosalie's eye as I listen. She raises her coffee in a silent toast. After hanging up, I turn to Riley. There's a great OB-GYN in the city. I can give you her number. Thank you. She stands to leave, pausing at the door. Your parents, they really messed up with you, didn't they? They messed up with both their kids. They just haven't realised it yet. That evening, Luca brings takeout, and we go through more of Rosalie's documents. Your father's going to lose his licence, he says, reading through emails. Possibly face charges. I know. Having second thoughts? I think about the couch, about years of subtle cruelty masked as concern, about Xavier's lies and Mum's manipulation. Not one. My phone lights up with texts. From Xavier. What did you tell Riley? From Mum. The neighbours are asking questions. From Dad. The board called. We need to talk. I silence my phone and walk to the window. Next door, I can see them all in the dining room, gesturing wildly. Their perfect family dinner devolved into what looks like a war zone. You know what the best part is? I tell Luca. They did this to themselves. I just held up a mirror and bought their dream house. That too. Rosalie joins us at the window. The neighbourhood association gala is next week, traditionally held in the largest home on the street. I turn to her slowly. You mean, welcome to hosting duties, darling? She grins. Shall we invite the family? Looking at their house, where their carefully constructed lies are finally catching up with them, I smile. Oh, absolutely. It would be rude not to. The gala transforms my house into something out of a magazine. Crystal chandeliers throw light across marble floors, champagne flows freely, and the neighbourhood's elite mill about in designer wear. I adjust my black suit, power clothes for a power play, and catch my reflection in a window. Gone is the woman who slept on a couch. In her place stands someone they never saw coming. Darling! Rosalie air kisses my cheek. They're here. Mum enters first, her smile brittle as glass. Dad follows, looking older than he did a week ago, probably because the licensing board suspended him pending investigation. Xavier skulks in last, alone. Jailer, Mum greets through clenched teeth. Lovely. Party? Isn't it? Amazing what success can buy. I wave over a waiter. Champagne? I'll need something stronger, Dad mutters. Thomas, a board member, approaches. We missed you at the hearing yesterday. Dad pales, excusing himself quickly. Mum follows, leaving Xavier shifting awkwardly. Heard from Riley lately? I ask innocently. Don't. His face darkens. You ruined everything. Pretty sure you did that yourself. How's the practice? He grabs my arm hard. You think you're so clever. Everything okay here? Luca appears, his hand settling protectively on my back. Xavier releases me, straightening his tie. Fine. Just family catching up. Speaking of catching up, I glance at my watch. It's time for the house tour. Gather round, everyone. The guests cluster in the foyer, eager to peek inside the neighbourhood's crown jewel. Mum and Dad hover at the back, trying to become invisible. Welcome, I begin, microphone in hand. I'm sure many of you remember this house under its previous owner, Rosalie. She's here tonight. I gesture to her, watching Dad flinch. And she helped make this evening possible. Murmurs ripple through the crowd. Some of you might wonder how I ended up here. It's quite a story, actually. I lock eyes with my mother. It starts with a couch. The room quiets. See, when my marriage ended, my family offered me a couch to sleep on. Not my old room. That was for my brother and his now ex-fiancé. Just a couch and daily reminders of what a disappointment I was. Mum steps forward. Jayla, don't... But here's the thing about rock bottom. When you're there, you learn who you really are. While they thought I was just a failure with a laptop, I built a 7-figure business. While they whispered about the neighbours' opinions, I planned my future. Xavier storms toward the door, but Luca blocks his path. And now? I gesture around the mansion. Now I own the house they always wanted. Funny how life works out. That's enough, Mum snaps. You're embarrassing yourself. No, Mother. For the first time, I'm not embarrassing anyone. I'm just telling the truth. Speaking of truth, I turn to the crowd. Did you know this house has quite a history of pressure sales, hidden dealings, threats? Dad lunges forward. Stop this immediately. Or what? Rosalie steps up beside me. You'll threaten me again? The guests gasp. Someone whispers about the licensing investigation. You broke me so quietly, I continue, voice steady. I learned to rebuild in silence. And now? I raise my champagne glass. Now, I never have to be quiet again. Applause breaks out. Genuine, appreciative applause. Mum practically runs from the room. Dad follows, ashen-faced. Xavier remains, something dark in his eyes. The party continues, but I notice Xavier slip away toward my study. Security cameras show him rifling through my desk. Looking for something? I ask from the doorway. He jumps, clutching papers. These prove Dad's dealings. The board would... Those are copies. I smile. Originals are already with the authorities. You've destroyed this family. No. I take the papers from his shaking hands. You all did that yourselves. I just stopped playing along. Later, after the guests leave, Luca helps me clean up. That was quite a speech, he says. Felt good to finally say it all. Your mother's face when you mentioned the couch. Karma's a beautiful thing. I pause, hearing movement outside. Through the window, I watch my family trudge home. Mom leaning on Dad, Xavier walking ahead alone. Their shoulders are slumped, their perfect facade finally shattered. You know, Luca says softly, you're nothing like them. Thank God for that. He takes my hand, and for the first time, I don't pull away. Stay for one more drink, I ask. I'd like that. In the kitchen, I find a note from Rosalie. Darling, you did it. You took their power and made it your own. Welcome home. I tuck the note away, pour 2 glasses of wine, and join Luca on my terrace. Below, my parents' house sits dark and quiet, its occupants finally facing the truth about themselves. Let them sit in darkness. I found my light. The doorbell rings as I'm working in my home office. Through the security camera, I see Riley, looking nervous but determined. I had my first ultrasound today, she says when I let her in, pulling out a grainy black and white photo. It's a girl. Congratulations. I mean it. I'm not showing yet, but... She takes a deep breath. Your mother's been calling. Apparently, Xavier told them. Of course he did. I guide her to the kitchen. Tea? They want me to give him another chance. For the baby. She wraps her arms around herself. Your mum offered to pay off his debts if I come back. And I said no. A small smile plays at her lips. I told her I learned from watching you that sometimes walking away is the strongest choice. The kettle whistles. How did she take that? She hung up. Then your father called, saying something about family loyalty. I hung up on him. I hand her a mug. Proud of you. That's actually why I'm here. She pulls out some papers. The DA wants me to testify about Xavier's financial dealings, about what I knew when I knew it. Are you going to? Already did. This morning. She meets my eyes. Your father's being indicted next week. I thought you should know. As if on cue, tires screech outside. Dad storms up my driveway, face purple with rage. Security system's armed, I tell Riley as he pounds on the door. He can't get in. You, he shouts through the glass. You turned everyone against me, your own father. No, I call back. Your actions did that. I built everything we had. Everything. Through fraud and threats. I step closer to the door. How's that working out? Mum appears behind him, trying to pull him away. Xavier's car screeches up. "Dad, stop!" He rushes forward. "The neighbours are watching." I laugh. "Still worried about the neighbours, Mum?" She freezes. For the first time, I see something like understanding cross her face. "Thomas," she says quietly, "let's go home. Not until... It's over." Her voice cracks. "We did this. All of it." Dad deflates suddenly, aging years in seconds. Xavier stands there, lost, as his perfect world crumbles completely. "Riley?" He spots her through the window. "Baby, please." "Goodbye, Xavier." She turns away, one hand protectively over her stomach. They leave slowly, a funeral procession of their own making. Through the window, I watch them return to their house, the house that once felt like a prison to me. "You okay?" Riley asks softly. "Better than okay." My phone buzzes. "Luca." "Dinner tonight?" "Yes," I text back, then turn to Riley. "Stay for lunch? We can talk about single mom life, business strategies, whatever you need." "I'd like that." She manages a real smile. "You know, I used to think you were the cautionary tale. Turns out you were the wake-up call we all needed." The afternoon sun streams through my windows as we talk. Outside, I see Rosalie walking her dog, waving as she passes my parents' house. Mum peers through their curtains, but doesn't wave back. "Your daughter," I tell Riley, "is going to have a much better example than we did." "Speaking of examples," she nods toward Luca's car pulling up. "He's good for you. We're taking it slow." I watch him walk up with takeout bags, building something real this time, unlike everything they built. She gestures next door. "Exactly." Later, after Riley leaves, I curl up in my sunroom, my favourite spot in the house. Through the windows, I can see my parents' place, dark except for the blue flicker of TV light. Luca joins me, his presence comfortable now. "Heard about your father's indictment. Karma comes for everyone eventually." "You're not sad about it?" "I'm sad about who they chose to be," I say, "not about the consequences." He takes my hand, and I let myself lean into him. Outside, Xavier's car starts up, probably heading to another bar. Mum's silhouette appears in their window, then vanishes. Let them hide behind their curtains now. Let them whisper and worry and wonder where they went wrong. I've got sunshine, success, and something real growing with Luca. I've got Riley's friendship and Rosalie's wisdom, and a home that's truly mine. Most importantly, I've got myself, stronger and clearer than ever before. They wanted me invisible. Instead, I became unavoidable. They wanted me quiet. Instead, I spoke truth to power. They wanted me broken. Instead, I built an empire. And from my sunroom couch, so different from the one they relegated me to, I can finally say, I won.
The lavender and baby powder hit me like a slap as I arrange pristine gift bags in Eleanor's nursery. Each perfectly coordinated decoration mocks me. I spent weeks getting every detail right for her shower, while she spent months getting every detail wrong in our friendship. I shouldn't have come early to help set up. But old habits die hard, even when you discover your best friend has been systematically destroying your life. "Sienna, darling, the fruit platter goes by the window." Eleanor's voice drips honey-sweet poison as she waddles in, hand resting on her bump. The lighting is better there for photos. I smile and nod, like I have for 15 years of friendship. Like I did last week when I overheard her telling Reese that I'm sweet but simple. Like I did yesterday when I found the emails. "Of course," I say, lifting the platter. "Wouldn't want your perfect day spoiled by poorly lit strawberries." She doesn't catch my tone. She never does. Eleanor lives in a world where she's the star and the rest of us are merely supporting characters, expected to worship her glow. The doorbell chimes and guests start arriving, a parade of designer sundresses and perfectly highlighted hair. I play my role, the devoted best friend, passing out champagne flutes of sparkling cider, laughing at all the right moments. Speech time. Reese announces after the gifts are opened. My stomach clenches. I know what's coming. Eleanor stands, radiant in her blush pink maternity dress. Before we continue celebrating this precious life, I have to share some amazing news about our dear Sienna. The room turns to me. Dozens of mascara-rimmed eyes, all knowing what I only learned yesterday. My cheeks burn, but I keep my expression neutral, waiting. She's finally found love. After years of... Eleanor pauses delicately. Struggling in that department, she's dating the most wonderful man. Everyone, raise your glasses to Sienna and Xander. The room erupts in cheers and congratulations. No one notices how my hands shake as I lift my glass. No one except Reese, who watches me with a hint of guilt in her eyes. They don't know that Xander was Eleanor's ex. They don't know she dated him for 3 years before declaring him too ambitious and dumping him last summer. They definitely don't know that she's been trying to sabotage our relationship since we started dating 2 months ago. But I know. I know because I found the emails where she told him I was emotionally unstable and desperate for marriage. Where she warned him I had a history of stalking ex-boyfriends. A complete lie. Where she suggested he was just my rebound and she'd take him back when she was ready to prioritize love again. "Tell us how you met," someone calls out. Eleanor's smile widens. "Oh, it was the sweetest thing," she gushes before I can speak. "I actually introduced them. Xander and I have stayed such good friends, and I just knew he and Sienna would be perfect together. She needed someone stable, you know?" The room awes appreciatively. I grip my glass harder, imagining it shattering. Imagining Eleanor's perfectly curated world shattering just like it. "Actually," I hear myself say, standing up. The words rise like bile in my throat. "That's not quite how it happened." Eleanor's smile freezes. A current of tension ripples through the room. "Sienna," she says softly, warning in her voice. "Don't spoil the mood." "I wouldn't dream of it," I reply, matching her tone. "I just think since we're celebrating truth and new beginnings, we should be honest about how things really happened." Reese steps forward, hand outstretched. "Maybe we should cut the cake." "No." My voice is stronger now. "I think everyone would love to hear about how you really introduced us. About all the warnings you sent him. About how you've been trying to break us up because you can't stand seeing him happy with someone else." The room goes silent. Eleanor's face drains of color, then flushes red. "You're making a scene," she hisses. "This is my baby shower." "Yes, it is." I set down my glass carefully. "And I wouldn't want to ruin your perfect day with the truth. That would be as tasteless as, say, using someone's baby shower to humiliate them." I turn to leave, but pause at the door. "Oh, and Eleanor, check your email. I forwarded everything to the entire guest list about 10 minutes ago. Consider it my baby shower gift, a lesson in consequences." As I walk out, phones start chiming throughout the room. Eleanor's scream of rage follows me down the hallway, and for the first time in 15 years, I feel truly intoxicatingly free. Rain pelts my apartment windows, matching the storm in my chest. My phone hasn't stopped buzzing since I left the shower. Mostly shocked messages from guests, a few angry ones from Eleanor's inner circle. I've blocked them all except Xander. His latest text glows on my screen. "We need to talk, coming over." Part of me wants to tell him not to bother. The other part needs to see his face, to know if I've destroyed everything by exposing Eleanor's lies. My hands shake as I make coffee. The familiar ritual doing nothing to calm my nerves. 3 sharp knocks. I open the door to find him soaked from the rain, his dark hair plastered to his forehead. His expression is unreadable. "You could have warned me," he says, stepping inside. "Would you have approved?" "No." He runs a hand through his wet hair. "But I would have been prepared for the 30 voicemails from Eleanor claiming I put you up to this." My stomach drops. "What did you tell her?" "Nothing yet." He moves to the kitchen, grabbing the mug I've already prepared for him. 2 sugars, splash of cream. Exactly how Eleanor used to make it for him. The thought makes me nauseous. "She's lying about everything," I say. "About us, about me. I know." His voice is gentle. "I've known for weeks. Eleanor sent me those emails right after we started dating. I just didn't tell you because..." He hesitates. "Because what?" "Because I was afraid you'd run." That knowing how much she was trying to sabotage us would make you question everything. Make you wonder if I was just using you to get back at her. The truth hits like a physical blow. Are you? Sienna. He sets down his mug and crosses to me. I fell for you because you're nothing like her. You're real, genuine. When you laugh, it's because something's actually funny, not because you're calculating how it makes you look. My phone buzzes again. Eleanor's name flashes on the screen, along with a preview of her message. You've ruined everything. I hope you're I silence it, but not before Xander sees. His jaw tightens. She's always been like this, he says quietly. Even when we were together, anyone who threatened her spotlight became a target. I watched her destroy friendships, careers, relationships, all while maintaining that perfect, caring image. Why did you stay with her so long? Same reason you stayed friends with her. She makes you feel special when she chooses you, until she doesn't. A knock at the door makes us both jump. Through the peephole, I see Reese, her makeup smeared from crying. Don't, Xander warns, but I open the door anyway. Reese bursts in, words tumbling out. Eleanor's being admitted to the hospital. She started having contractions after you left. The doctors say it's probably just stress, but... She breaks off, glaring at me. Are you happy now? Was revenge worth risking my sister's baby? Guilt crashes over me. I never meant... Save it. Reese's voice cracks. You know what the worst part is? She trusted you. Even after everything with Xander, she still defended you to everyone. Said you were family. Family? I laugh bitterly. Family doesn't try to destroy someone's chance at happiness. Family doesn't spread lies about mental illness and stalking. Family doesn't... She was protecting you, Reese shouts. God, you're so blind. She knew Xander would break your heart like he broke hers. She was trying to save you from making her mistakes. Xander steps forward. That's not what happened, and you know it. Really? Reese's eyes narrow. So you didn't tell Eleanor you loved her last month? Didn't say you made a mistake leaving? The world stops. I turn to Xander, searching his face for denial. Finding none. When? My voice sounds distant, hollow. It wasn't like that. He starts. She called me late one night, crying about the pregnancy, saying she missed us. When? He closes his eyes. The night before our first date. The pieces click into place. Eleanor's sudden interest in my love life, her careful orchestration of our chance meeting, her desperate attempts to break us up. She wasn't just being controlling. She was trying to stop history from repeating itself. Get out, I whisper. Both of you. Sienna, please, get out. They leave. The door clicks shut. Rain continues hammering against the windows as I sink to the floor, wondering if I've become exactly what Eleanor always said I was. Unstable, desperate, alone. My phone buzzes one final time. A message from Freya. Whatever you're thinking right now, don't. Come over. I'll open wine. We'll figure this out. I stare at the message for a long moment, then grab my keys. I've lost my best friend and possibly my boyfriend today. I'm not losing anyone else to Eleanor's games. Freya's apartment smells like red wine and sympathy. She's already poured 2 glasses and arranged a fortress of throw pillows on her couch, our usual crisis setup since college. Start from the beginning, she says, handing me a glass. The real beginning. I take a long sip. I thought the beginning was finding those emails. But now, I trail off, remembering Xander's confession. Maybe I'm just as manipulative as Eleanor. Maybe I'm exactly what she thinks I am. Stop. Freya's voice is sharp. That's Eleanor in your head. Tell me what you want right now without thinking about what anyone else wants. I want... The words stick in my throat. I want to stop feeling like a supporting character in my own life. My phone buzzes. Another message from Xander. Please let me explain. Meet me for coffee? Freya reads it over my shoulder. Are you going? I don't know. I curl deeper into the pillows. Part of me wants to hear his explanation. Part of me is afraid I'll believe whatever he tells me. Then don't go alone. She tops off my wine. I'll come with you. Be your bullshit detector. I consider this. Eleanor's still in the hospital. If I meet him now, everyone will say I'm heartless. Everyone's already talking. Might as well give them something real to talk about. She's right. I text Xander back. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., usual place, bringing Freya. His response is immediate. Fair enough. The next morning, I'm picking at a muffin while Freya guards our table like a sentinel. When Xander walks in, he's not alone. Hamza, our coworker from the marketing department, is with him. Hope you don't mind, Xander says, sliding into the seat across from me. Hamza's been helping me sort through some things. Hamza gives me a small nod. We've never been close, but he's always been kind. The type to remember everyone's coffee order and birthday. Eleanor's being released today. Xander starts. The baby's fine, but... I didn't come here to talk about Eleanor. I cut him off. No, you need to hear this. Hamza leans forward. Eleanor's been playing a longer game than you realize. She didn't just try to sabotage your relationship with Xander. She's been undermining you at work for months. My coffee turns bitter in my mouth. What? Those client complaints that got you passed over for the promotion? Eleanor's friends. The rumor about you missing deadlines? Eleanor, she's been systematically cutting off your opportunities while positioning herself as your biggest supporter. How do you know this? Because she tried to recruit me to help. Hamza's expression is grim. Said you were unstable, that she was protecting the company by keeping you in a manageable position. The world tilts sideways. All those missed opportunities, the subtle hints from management about reliability issues, the way Eleanor always seemed to know about my career setbacks before I did. Why are you telling me this now? I ask Xander. Because I was an idiot. He runs a hand through his hair. That night Eleanor called me. She was laying groundwork. She knew I was interested in you, knew we'd been flirting at office events. She played me, got me to admit I still had feelings for her, then used it to make me look untrustworthy when we started dating. And you fell for it? Freya says coldly. I did. But not anymore. He pulls out his phone, shows me texts from Eleanor, dozens of them, alternating between threats and pleas. She's been trying to convince me you're having a breakdown, that we need to help you by getting you transferred to the satellite office. My hands shake as I read the messages. Each one is perfectly crafted to sound concerned while painting me as increasingly unstable. I have a meeting with HR tomorrow. Hamza says quietly, I'm reporting everything, but they'll need your statement too. The magnitude of what he's offering hits me. Going against Eleanor means risking his own position, his reputation. Why would you help me? Because 2 years ago, Eleanor did the same thing to my sister. By the time we realized what was happening, it was too late. She'd already changed departments, lost confidence. She still hasn't fully recovered. Freya squeezes my hand under the table. What are you thinking? I'm thinking about every time Eleanor helped me by suggesting I wasn't ready for advancement. Every time she introduced me as her sweet but simple friend. Every opportunity that mysteriously evaporated. I'm thinking, I say slowly, that Eleanor is not the only one who knows how to play the long game. Sienna. Freya's voice holds a warning. No. I sit straighter. She wants to paint me as unstable? Fine. Let's show everyone exactly who's been manipulating whom. Xander and Hamza exchange glances. What's your plan? First, we gather evidence. Then, I smile, feeling something shift inside me. Then we give Eleanor exactly what she wants. A very public breakdown. Just not the one she's expecting. The HR office feels too small, too warm. I smooth my skirt for the 10th time while Sarah from HR reviews the evidence we've gathered. Emails, texts, timestamps of coincidental client complaints. My hands are steady, but my heart hammers against my ribs. This is comprehensive, Sarah says finally. But you understand making these allegations against Eleanor? especially while she's on medical leave after a pregnancy complication. I understand perfectly. My voice comes out calmer than I feel. I also understand that workplace harassment doesn't become acceptable just because the perpetrator is pregnant. Sarah nods slowly, shuffling papers. Ms. Shelton has an exemplary record with us. These claims seem out of character. Of course they do. Eleanor's spent years crafting her image, building a fortress of plausible deniability. I'm about to respond when there's a knock at the door. Hamza enters, carrying a folder. Sorry to interrupt, but I have something relevant to this discussion. He spreads out printed screenshots, conversations between Eleanor and various team members, each one subtly undermining me while maintaining her supportive facade. The timestamps span months. Sarah's expression shifts as she reads. This pattern of behavior goes beyond normal office politics, Hamza finishes, and I'm willing to testify about her attempted recruitment of me into these activities. After the meeting, Hamza walks me to my desk. You okay? I don't know. I sink into my chair. Part of me feels like I'm overreacting, like maybe I'm seeing conspiracy where there's just life. That's exactly what she wants you to think. He perches on the edge of my desk. It's how she operates. Death by 1,000 cuts, each one small enough to doubt. My phone buzzes. A text from Sage, another colleague. Eleanor's back. Lunchroom. Crying about how worried she is about you. Of course she is. My fingers tighten around the phone. Don't, Hamza warns. That's what she wants. A confrontation she can spin. He's right, but knowing doesn't make it easier. I spend the afternoon fielding concerned looks and whispered conversations that stop when I approach. Eleanor's performance is working. I can feel the narrative shifting. See people wondering if I really am having some kind of breakdown. By evening, I'm exhausted. I pack up quickly, hoping to avoid another sympathetic intervention, but Freya's waiting by my car. We need to talk, she says. I'm tired, Freya. I know, but you need to hear this. She takes a deep breath. I found something about Eleanor, about why she's really doing this. My keys dig into my palm. What? Remember that charity gala last year? The one where you gave that speech about workplace mentorship? I nod. It had been a small triumph, my first time presenting to the board. Eleanor was supposed to give that speech. She'd been preparing for months, but at the last minute, she got food poisoning. I finish. She asked me to step in. No. Freya's voice is soft. She didn't get sick. She was passed over. The board chose you specifically, said they wanted a fresh perspective. Eleanor found out the day before, but played it like she was doing you a favor. The memory shifts, takes on new meaning. Eleanor's tight smile as she called to ask for my help. The way she emphasized to everyone that she'd given me this opportunity. How do you know this? Because I was dating Marcus from the board then. He told me everything. Freya touches my arm. That's when it started. The complaints, the rumors. She couldn't stand that they'd seen something in you she hadn't cultivated. My throat tightens. Why didn't you tell me? Would you have believed me? Back then, Eleanor was your hero, your mentor. I tried to warn you subtly, but I didn't want to see it. The truth settles like lead in my stomach. I wanted so badly to believe she actually cared about me. She did care. That's what makes it worse. You were her project, her protege, until you outgrew her plan for you. My phone buzzes again. Another message from Eleanor. I'm so worried about you. Please let me help, like I always have. Something hardens in my chest. You know what? She's right. She has always helped me. Helped me doubt myself, helped me stay small, helped me believe I needed her approval. Sienna? No. I straighten up. It's time to help her back. Show her exactly how well she taught me. What are you going to do? I smile, thinking of Eleanor's perfectly orchestrated concern, her carefully curated image. I'm going to give her exactly what she wants, a chance to be the hero. One last time. The plan crystallizes in my mind. beautiful in its simplicity. Eleanor wants to save me? Fine. Let's see how she handles it when her rescue attempt becomes her reckoning. The office kitchen feels like a stage, and I'm about to give the performance of my life. My hands tremble slightly as I pour coffee, letting a few drops splash onto my sleeve. Eleanor watches from her carefully chosen position by the door, close enough to intervene, far enough to maintain plausible deniability. Right on cue, Reese appears. Sienna, can we talk? I drop the mug. It shatters, coffee and ceramic spreading across the floor. I can't do this right now. Hey, it's okay. Reese steps closer, phone angled just right to capture my breakdown. Eleanor taught her well. We're all worried about you. Worried? I laugh, the sound sharp and brittle. Like you were worried when you helped Eleanor spread rumors about me stalking ex-boyfriends? Or when you backed her lies about my work performance? Reese pales. That's not... We were trying to protect you. Protect me? My voice rises. Other employees pause in the hallway, drawn by the commotion. Perfect. By destroying my reputation? By sabotaging my career? Sienna. Eleanor glides forward, concern radiating from every perfect pore. You're not well. Let us help you. Like you helped your last protege? The words hit their mark. Eleanor freezes. Oh yes, Hamza told me about his sister. Did you help her too? Guide her career right into the ground? That was different, Eleanor says softly. She was unstable. Like me? I step closer. Tell me, how many other women have you helped? How many careers have you shaped through careful manipulation and concerned whispers? The growing audience shifts uncomfortably. Eleanor's mask slips for just a second, showing something ugly beneath. You're proving my point, she says, voice honeyed with false sympathy. This paranoid behavior, these accusations, this isn't you, sweetie. Actually, it is me. Finally. I pull out my phone, start playing a recording. Eleanor's voice fills the kitchen. Just keep pushing the unstable angle. Once she breaks down publicly, we can push for a transfer. It's for her own good. The color drains from Eleanor's face. Where did you get that? From Xander. He's been recording your calls for weeks. Turns out he learned something from dating you after all. Always keep receipts. Reese steps between us. Stop this. Eleanor's pregnant. She doesn't need... Doesn't need what? Consequences? I turn to the gathered crowd. Did you know Eleanor's been orchestrating workplace harassment campaigns for years? That she builds women up just to tear them down when they start to succeed on their own? That's enough. Eleanor's composure cracks. You ungrateful little... Ms. Shelton. Sarah from HR appears in the doorway. My office. Now. Eleanor straightens, smooths her dress. Of course. I'd be happy to discuss Sienna's concerning behavior. Not about her. Sarah's voice is ice. About the multiple complaints we've received regarding your systematic harassment of colleagues, including documented evidence. The audience murmurs. Eleanor's perfect mask shatters completely. You planned this, she hisses at me. You manipulative, I learned from the best. I meet her eyes. You taught me everything I know about destroying someone while looking innocent. Consider this my final exam. She lunges forward, but Hamza appears, catching her arm. Don't make this worse, Eleanor. As security escorts Eleanor away, Freya touches my shoulder. You okay? No. My hands shake as the adrenaline fades. I just destroyed someone's career. Someone who's about to have a baby. She destroyed herself, Freya says firmly. You just exposed it. But watching Eleanor's retreating back, I'm not so sure. The line between justice and revenge feels suddenly blurry. I think of all the times Eleanor justified her actions as helping. Wonder if I'm any different. My phone buzzes. An email from Eleanor's personal account. Congratulations, you've won. But ask yourself, when did you become exactly what you hated about me? The words hit harder than they should. In the reflection of my phone screen, I catch a glimpse of my expression. Triumphant, calculating, satisfied. Eleanor's expression mirrored on my face. "What have I done?" I whisper. "What you had to," Hamza says quietly. "The question is, what are you going to do now?" I look around at my watching colleagues, see the same uncertainty I feel. Have I stopped a bully or become one? Exposed the truth or just created a new version of it? The answer comes in another email notification from Eleanor's lawyer. The game isn't over. It's just moving to a bigger stage. The legal letter sits heavy in my hands, its threats wrapped in professional courtesy. Defamation, harassment, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Eleanor's lawyer has been busy. "She's claiming your actions caused pregnancy complications," Freya says, reading over my shoulder. "That's low, even for her." "It's smart." I set down the letter. Makes me look like a monster for attacking a vulnerable pregnant woman. Doesn't matter that she started this. She's controlling the narrative again. My phone lights up with a text from Xander. "Eleanor's sister just called. We need to talk. Now." 20 minutes later, I'm in Xander's apartment, staring at Reese's tearful face on his laptop screen. "I can't do this anymore," she says. She's not well. The things she's saying, the plans she's making." "What plans?" "She's going to claim the stress made her lose the baby." My blood runs cold. "But the baby's fine. The doctor said," "The baby is fine. That's the point." Reese wipes her eyes. "She's going to fake a miscarriage. Pin it on you. She's already talking to tabloid journalists, setting up interviews." Jesus. Xander runs a hand through his hair. "She's really lost it." "She's desperate," I say. "I backed her into a corner and now—" "This isn't your fault," Freya interrupts firmly. "Eleanor's choices are her own." "But aren't they also mine? Every move I made, every trap I set, I knew exactly how she'd react. I played her like she played me, used her own patterns against her." My phone buzzes. A message from an unknown number. "Coffee? I have information you need." Psych. I remember Saiga's quiet presence at office meetings, how she always seemed to fade into the background. Perfect for observing unnoticed. "I have to go," I tell the others. Maybe there's still a way to end this before it gets worse. The cafe is quiet when I arrive. Saiga sits in a corner booth, fingers nervously tapping her cup. "Thanks for coming," she says as I slide in across from her. "I've been wanting to tell you something for months, but Eleanor, she has a way of making simple things seem impossible." "I know exactly what you mean." Sage pulls out her phone, opens a video. Eleanor appears on screen, sitting in what looks like a restaurant. The timestamp shows 3 months ago. "I recorded this when I was having lunch at the next table," Sage explains. "Listen," Eleanor's voice comes through clearly. "Perfect setup. Board wants fresh blood? Fine. Let Sienna have her moment. She'll crash and burn spectacularly, and when she does..." She laughs. "Well, who do you think they'll turn to then? The steady hand, the voice of reason." My stomach turns. She planned this from the beginning. The gala speech wasn't just the trigger. It was part of her strategy. Keep watching. The video continues. Eleanor outlines every step. The manufactured complaints, the strategic support, the carefully timed revelations. All leading to an inevitable public breakdown that would cement her position and destroy mine. "Why show me this now?" Saga's hands tremble slightly. "Because she did the same thing to me at my last job. I changed companies, changed my name. But seeing her do it again..." She takes a shaky breath. "I thought if I stayed quiet, stayed invisible, she'd leave me alone. But that's what she wants, isn't it? For all of us to stay small?" My phone buzzes again. Another email from Eleanor's lawyer. More threats, more demands. But something's shifted inside me. "Thank you," I tell Saj, "for not staying invisible." Outside, rain begins to fall. I call Freya. "Eleanor's not just fighting back," I say when she answers. She's following a script, one she's used before. What are you thinking? I'm thinking it's time to go off script. I watch raindrops race down the cafe window. She expects me to fight the legal threats, to defend myself publicly, to play the game her way. And instead, I'm going to tell the truth. All of it, including my part in it. My voice steadies. No more strategic moves, no more perfect timing, just the whole messy reality. Sienna. Freya hesitates. That could cost you everything. Your job, your reputation. Maybe, but staying silent will cost more. I think of Saig, of Hamza's sister, of all the others Eleanor's silenced. Sometimes the only way to break a pattern is to break yourself open first. My phone buzzes one final time. Eleanor. Last chance, back down now or I destroy everything you care about. I smile, feeling strangely calm. Game on, I text back, but this time we're playing by my rules. The company town hall feels like a powder keg. Hundreds of employees fill the auditorium, all here for Eleanor's carefully orchestrated performance. She stands at the podium, the picture of dignified suffering in a loose black dress that emphasizes her pregnancy. I've always believed in nurturing talent, she says, voice trembling perfectly. In supporting those who needed guidance. That's why it breaks my heart to address the recent events. I sit in the back row between Freya and Hamza, my laptop open and ready. Eleanor's lawyer hovers near the stage, shooting me warning glances. What if this makes everything worse? I whisper to Freya. It will, she replies, before it gets better. Eleanor continues, each word calculated for maximum impact. When someone you've mentored, someone you've trusted, turns on you during your most vulnerable time. She dabs at her eyes. The stress has already affected my pregnancy. My finger hovers over the enter key. One press and the email goes to every employee, every board member, every client contact in our database. The whole truth, including my own manipulation, my calculated revenge. Eleanor's voice cracks beautifully. I only pray my baby survives this ordeal. Now, Hamza whispers. I press enter. Phones start buzzing throughout the auditorium. Eleanor falters as hundreds of screens light up simultaneously. Her eyes find mine in the crowd, widen in recognition. I stand. I have something to add. This is not the appropriate time. Her lawyer interjects. Actually, it's exactly the right time. I move to the center aisle. While everyone's reading about how Eleanor systematically destroyed careers, including evidence from her previous victims, I want to confess my own part in this. Eleanor grips the podium. Security, please remove. I became exactly what I hated about you. I continue, voice carrying clearly. I manipulated. I calculated. I played everyone's emotions like you taught me to do. Murmurs ripple through the crowd. Eleanor's lawyer steps forward, but Hamza blocks his path. The difference is, I'm not hiding behind a carefully crafted image anymore. I meet Eleanor's gaze. I'm not pretending my actions were for anyone's good but my own. You're proving my point about your instability, Eleanor says smoothly, but her hands shake. No, I'm proving that your greatest fear isn't losing control. It's being seen. Really seen. I pull out my phone, start playing Saja's video. Eleanor's own voice fills the auditorium, laying out her manipulation strategy. Color drains from her face. That's doctored. Then how about this? Another recording plays. Eleanor discussing her fake miscarriage plan with her lawyer. Funny how people talk when they realize you're sinking. The lawyer backs away from Eleanor, face ashen. The crowd's murmurs turn angry. You don't understand, Eleanor says, mask cracking. None of you understand what it takes to succeed in this world. The constant competition, the need to protect yourself. By destroying others before they can threaten you? I climb the stage steps. By making sure no one else's light can outshine yours? Yes, she screams, composure shattering completely. Because the moment you show weakness, the moment you let someone else rise, they take everything. Silence falls. Eleanor's hands clutch her stomach, real panic replacing performative vulnerability. I could have been your ally, I say quietly. We all could have been, but you chose to make us enemies instead. Get out, she whispers. No. I face the crowd. I'm done hiding, done playing games. I helped create this toxic environment by participating in it. By letting fear of Eleanor's retaliation silence me. That ends today. Security appears, but they move toward Eleanor, not me. The board chairman stands in the front row, face grave. Ms. Shelton, please come with us. Eleanor straightens, dignity reassembling like armor. This isn't over. Actually, it is. I feel strangely light. Because I'm not playing anymore. No more strategic moves, no more perfect timing. Just truth. Messy and complicated and real. As security escorts Eleanor out, Freya appears at my side. You okay? No. I watch Eleanor's retreating back. But I will be. We all will be. My phone buzzes one last time. A message from Eleanor. You've become me. Hope you can live with that. I type back. No, I've become myself. Hope you find the courage to do the same. The auditorium slowly empties, leaving me alone on stage. Through the windows, sunlight breaks through clouds, illuminating dust motes in the air. For the first time in months, I take a deep, clean breath. The game is over. Now the real work begins. The nursery still smells like lavender and baby powder. Eleanor's daughter sleeps peacefully in her crib, tiny fingers curled around the edge of her blanket. I shouldn't be here, but Reese insisted. She needs to understand, Reese had said, that her mother's actions don't define her future. Now, watching this innocent child breathe, I wonder if Eleanor once stood over her own crib, equally pure, equally full of possibility. When did she learn to view every relationship as a competition? When did survival become more important than connection? She has your eyes. Eleanor's voice comes from behind me. She looks different in house arrest ankle monitor and casual clothes. Smaller somehow. Human. I'm not here to fight, I say. Then why are you here? Because running away from hard conversations is what got us here in the first place. Eleanor moves to the crib, adjusts the blanket with trembling hands. The board offered me a settlement. Full severance if I resign quietly. Admit to everything. Seek therapy. Are you going to take it? Would you? I meet her eyes in the soft nursery light. I think you know what running would cost you this time. She touches her daughter's cheek gently. I used to think power meant making people need you, making them smaller so you could feel bigger. Her voice cracks. Now I have this tiny person who actually does need me, and I'm terrified of making her feel the way I made others feel. That fear? I say quietly. That's the first step to breaking the pattern. Why are you really here, Sienna? To gloat? To forgive me? To make sure I'm suffering enough? I'm here because I need to know if it was all manipulation. Every moment of friendship, every laugh, every confidence shared, was any of it real? Eleanor's shoulders sag. All of it was real. That's what made it so effective. She turns to face me. I loved you like a sister. And I destroyed you like one too. The truth hits harder than any lie could have. You taught me everything you knew, including how to destroy you back. I did. A ghost of her old smile appears. You were always my best student. And my worst mistake was trying to graduate. The words come out bitter. No. Eleanor's voice strengthens. Your mistake was believing you needed my approval to succeed. My mistake was believing I needed to crush others to keep my own power. The baby stirs, makes a soft sound. We both freeze, watching her settle back to sleep. I got a job offer, I say finally. Running the creative department at a startup. Clean slate, fresh start. You'd be good at that. I know. The confidence in my voice surprises us both. I don't need you to tell me anymore. Eleanor nods slowly. I saved all your work, you know. Every project, every presentation, even after everything. I have a whole folder labeled Sienna's growth. She laughs softly. Ironic, isn't it? I documented your rise while trying to orchestrate your fall. Send it to me, I say. Not because I need it, but because letting go of it might help you grow too. She studies me for a long moment. You really have become stronger than me. Not stronger, just more honest with myself and others. I move toward the door, then pause. The therapy they recommended? Take it. Not for the board, not for your career, but for her. I nod toward the crib. Break the pattern before she learns it. Sienna? Eleanor calls as I reach the doorway. That startup? They're lucky to have you. I know. I say again, and this time it feels like freedom. Outside, Freya waits in her car. You okay? No. I buckle my seatbelt. But I'm done pretending to be. Where to? I think of Eleanor in that quiet nursery, of patterns waiting to be broken, of power that comes from lifting others instead of crushing them. Forward, I say. Just forward. As we drive away, my phone buzzes. A message from Eleanor. Growth? Sienna? Zip attached. I delete it without opening it. Some lessons are better learned firsthand. Some strength better found than given. The setting sun paints the sky in shades of possibility, and for the first time in forever, I'm ready to write my own story. Messy, authentic, and entirely mine.
The first thing I noticed when I woke up was the beeping. Steady, mechanical, and somehow both irritating and reassuring at the same time. I couldn't open my eyes, couldn't move my lips to speak, but I could hear everything. And what I heard made me wish I was truly unconscious. She's not responding to any stimuli below the waist, a clinical voice said somewhere to my left. The spinal damage is extensive. My name is Caitlin, and 3 days ago, I was driving home from work when my brakes failed. At least, that's what they told me happened. The last thing I remember was the steering wheel jerking violently in my hands as my car careened toward the guardrail. How long before we can move forward with the power of attorney? That was Nico's voice, my husband, the man I'd shared a bed with for 6 years. His tone was all wrong, too businesslike, too calm. Mr. Morrison, your wife is in a medically induced coma. We need to... Yes, but there are financial matters that need attention. Time-sensitive matters. I wanted to scream, to reach out and grab him by the throat, but my body remained still, useless, like a puppet with cut strings. Nico's right. My mother Delaney's voice drifted in. We need to act quickly. The trust fund deadline is approaching, and she wouldn't want to suffer like this anyway. Trust fund. Of course. Grandmother's inheritance. The one she'd left specifically to me, bypassing my mother entirely. Because Delaney can't be trusted with it, she'd told me before she died. I hadn't understood then. I did now. Mrs. Summers, please lower your voice, the doctor warned. Even in a coma, patients can sometimes... Oh, please, my mother scoffed. Look at her. She can't hear anything. Footsteps approached my bed. A hand touched my arm, Nico's. I knew his touch, but now it made my skin crawl. The lawyers said if we can get power of attorney, we can redirect the trust before it fully vests. We just need to move quickly. And you're sure about the brake lines? My father, Rodney's voice, usually so passive, held an edge I'd never heard before. Rod, my mother hissed. Not here. The brake lines, the crash. It wasn't an accident. The realization hit me like a second impact, stealing what little breath I could draw. My own family, my own husband. I'll have the papers drawn up, Nico said smoothly. We can file them tomorrow. The doctor said there's no guarantee she'll wake up anyway, and even if she does, she'll be in no condition to manage her affairs, my mother finished. It's really for the best. They continued talking, plotting, their voices fading as they moved toward the door. I lay there, trapped in my useless body, rage building like a pressure cooker. Then I felt it, the slight weight of my phone, still in the pocket of my hospital gown. They hadn't thought to remove it. With every ounce of concentration I possessed, I focused on moving my right index finger. Just one finger, just enough. The effort made my head pound, but I felt it twitch, again, until finally, I managed to slide my hand beneath the blanket. One more push, one more impossible movement. My finger found the phone's side button. 3 quick presses, the shortcut I'd set up for voice recording. A faint vibration confirmed it was working. "We should meet with Leon tomorrow," Nico was saying. "Get him to start the transfer process." "What about Pierce?" my mother asked. "Can he be trusted?" "Pierce knows what's at stake. He'll play his part." Their voices grew clearer as they approached my bed again. Perfect for the recording. "I'll come back tonight," Nico said, his footsteps stopping beside me. He leaned down, his lips brushing my forehead in a mockery of affection. "Sleep well, darling." The door clicked shut behind them, leaving me alone with the steady beeping of monitors and the weight of betrayal crushing my chest. But beneath the pain, beneath the fury, a cold clarity emerged. They thought I was helpless. They thought they could steal my inheritance, my autonomy, maybe even my life. But they'd made one crucial mistake. They'd underestimated me, and now I had proof. My finger twitched again, stopping the recording. It wasn't much, but it was a start. They didn't know I could hear them, didn't know I could move at all. And that ignorance would be their downfall, because while they plotted to take everything from me, they'd given me something powerful in return. A purpose. I would lie here, silent and still, gathering evidence. And when the time was right, I would make them pay for every word, every lie, every betrayal. Let them think I was broken. I would show them exactly how wrong they were. Days blurred together in a haze of beeping monitors and hushed conversations. Every morning, Nico would arrive with fresh flowers and empty words, playing the part of devoted husband perfectly. "The doctors say you're stable now," he'd whisper, holding my limp hand. "We're all praying for you, sweetheart." Then he'd check his phone, thinking I couldn't see the slight smile when certain messages came through. My parents were worse. They didn't even bother with the pretense when they thought they were alone. "The trust manager is being difficult," my mother complained one afternoon. "Leon keeps insisting on waiting." "He's just being cautious," my father replied, "after what happened with grandmother's estate." "Don't start with that again, Rod. She left everything to Caitlin out of spite. Pure spite. As if I hadn't taken care of her for years. I remembered differently. Remembered grandmother's warnings about my mother's spending habits, her manipulation, her endless schemes to access the family money. "Watch her closely," grandmother had told me. "She'll smile while she steals the silver." The door opened, interrupting their conversation. "Mr. and Mrs. Summers?" A nurse's voice. "There's a call for you at the nurse's station. Something about insurance paperwork." After they left, I felt a gentle touch on my arm. "They're gone now," the nurse whispered. "I saw your fingers move yesterday. I know you can hear me. My name is Mia, and I want to help." My heart raced, but I kept still, unsure if this was a trap. "Listen," Mia continued. "I'm going to leave my phone under your pillow. It's an old one, but it works. The voice-to-text is already open. If you can move at all, use it. I'll check it when I change your sheets." She slipped away as footsteps approached. My mother's voice carried down the hall. "Nico says Pierce is getting nervous. We need to move faster." That night, after everyone had gone, I forced my fingers to move. Each tap felt like lifting a mountain, but slowly, painfully, I managed to type. "Need help. Contact Jocelyn McBride, estate lawyer. Tell her Caitlin needs her. Emergency. The next morning, Mia retrieved her phone during rounds. Hours later, she returned. Jocelyn is coming, she whispered, while checking my IV. She'll be here tomorrow, disguised as a medical consultant. True to her word, Jocelyn arrived the next day. I heard her heels clicking on the floor, remembered how she used to say you could intimidate anyone with the right pair of shoes. I need to examine the patient alone, she announced firmly. Standard legal protocol for potential malpractice cases. Once the room was clear, she moved close. Jesus, Caitlin, she breathed. What have they done to you? I twitched my fingers, our old signal from law school when we wanted to talk privately. She caught it immediately. You're conscious, she said, and they don't know. Okay, listen. I've been looking into the trust. Nico's been meeting with Leon secretly for weeks before your accident. And there's more. Large withdrawals from your joint accounts. Suspicious transfers. Something big was happening. My fingers twitched again. Right, she said, pulling out her phone. I'm recording everything now. Save your strength. Just listen. She detailed what she'd found. Nico's failing business ventures, hidden debt, desperate attempts to access my trust fund, my mother's involvement in changing medical directives, Pierce's suspicious meetings. But here's what they don't know, Jocelyn said, satisfaction coloring her voice. Your grandmother added a clause. If anyone attempts to seize control of the trust through medical power of attorney, everything goes to charity. They can't touch it unless you're dead. The implication hung heavy in the air. If they couldn't control the trust while I was incapacitated. I've alerted Leon, she continued. He's playing along with them for now, gathering evidence. We'll protect you, Caitlin. Just keep playing dead while we build the case. She squeezed my hand. I have to go. Mia will help us communicate. We'll get these bastards, I promise. After she left, I lay there processing everything. They hadn't just tried to paralyze me. They'd tried to kill me. And they might try again, once they realized their current plan wouldn't work. Mia returned later with fresh sheets. As she leaned close to adjust my pillow, she whispered, Your mother's been asking about medication schedules. I've switched your chart with another patient's. They won't know what you're really receiving. I managed to move my thumb slightly. Thank you. Rest now, she said. Build your strength. You're going to need it. She was right, because now I knew the truth, and I had allies. Let them think they were in control. Let them think I was helpless. Their arrogance would be their undoing. I just had to stay alive long enough to destroy them all. Mia became my lifeline. Every night after her shift started at 11, she'd help me with small exercises. Tiny movements at first, finger flexes, wrist rotations, toe curls. Each motion was agony, but it was progress. My father was like you, she told me one night while massaging my rigid muscles. After his stroke, everyone thought he was gone. His new wife tried to sell his house right out from under him. But he could hear everything, could feel everything. What happened? I managed to whisper, my voice barely audible after weeks of disuse. He waited, gathered evidence, then he got better and took everything back. She smiled grimly. She didn't see it coming. The door creaked, and Mia quickly resumed her professional posture. It was just the night janitor, but we couldn't risk being discovered. During the day, I played my part. Nico would visit, reading emails, or making calls while pretending to keep me company. My parents dropped by less frequently, always with questions for the medical staff about my condition. The physical therapist thinks we should try passive movement exercises, my mother told Nico one afternoon, to prevent muscle atrophy. Is that necessary? Nico asked sharply. The doctors said recovery was unlikely. It's standard procedure, the therapist, David, explained. We'll start tomorrow. That night, Mia helped me prepare. David's one of the good ones, she whispered. I told him you're conscious. He'll help. The next day, David arrived with his equipment. Let's see what we're working with, he said loudly, then lowered his voice once we were alone. Mia told me everything. Follow my lead. He began moving my legs, testing resistance. To anyone watching through the window, it looked like standard therapy, but he was actually assessing my real capabilities. You've been exercising, he murmured approvingly. Good girl. Let's build on that. Over the next few days, David's sessions became my sanctuary. He taught me to control my breathing, to engage muscles systematically, to build strength without showing improvement. Then Jocelyn visited again, this time with news that made my blood run cold. Pierce talked, she said under the guise of checking my charts. He was drunk at a bar last night. Started rambling about Rose, your cousin. Apparently, they've been seeing each other for months. And get this, Rose was with Nico the night before your accident. My fingers clenched involuntarily. There's more, Jocelyn continued. Leon found some interesting transfers, large sums moving between accounts linked to Pierce, Rose, and Nico. All dated just before your crash. A knock at the door made us both freeze. Mia stuck her head in. Sorry to interrupt, but Mrs. Summers is on her way up. Jocelyn gathered her things quickly. Keep fighting, she whispered. We're close to something big. That evening, I had my first breakthrough. During therapy, when David was helping me sit up, I managed to hold the position for several seconds on my own. His eyes widened, but he maintained his professional demeanor. That's enough for today, he said normally, then whispered, You're recovering faster than expected. We need to be careful. He was right. That night, I overheard Nico on the phone in my room, thinking I was asleep. The medication should have been enough, he hissed. No, listen to me, Pierce. We need to move faster. Rose is getting nervous. No, I don't care about your guilt. We're all in this together. After he left, Mia slipped in with her phone. Got it all recorded, she said. Jocelyn's going to love this. But our small victory was short-lived. The next morning, my mother arrived with a new doctor I'd never seen before. Dr. Roberts specializes in long-term care facilities, she announced brightly. We think it might be time to discuss moving you somewhere more appropriate. My heart raced. They were trying to isolate me. The transfer would need to happen soon, the doctor said, within the week. Perfect, my mother replied. We'll make the arrangements. After they left, Mia rushed in. Did you hear? I managed a small nod. Don't worry, she said, checking my IV. Jocelyn's already working on blocking the transfer, but Caitlin... She hesitated. We need to accelerate our timeline. You're not safe here anymore. She was right. The time for waiting was over. I needed to stand up, literally and figuratively, sooner than planned. Tonight, I whispered. Mia nodded, understanding. I'll tell David to bring the walking frame. If you're ready to fight, we're ready to help. I was more than ready. I was done being the victim in their story. It was time to become the author of their nightmare. The walking frame felt cold against my palms as David and Mia positioned me at the edge of the bed. 3 a.m. The quietest hour in the hospital, when even the night nurses dozed at their stations. Remember, David whispered, small steps. Don't push too hard. My legs trembled as I put weight on them for the first time in weeks. Pain shot through my spine, but I gritted my teeth and pushed through it. That's it, Mia encouraged, supporting my right side. Just like we practiced. One step, another. Each movement felt like walking through concrete, but I was moving. Actually, moving. The door opened suddenly, and we all froze. A young nurse I didn't recognize stood there, mouth agape. It's okay, Amanda, Mia said quickly. Close the door. Amanda slipped inside, eyes wide. I thought everyone said she was. She is, David cut in firmly. Officially. And it needs to stay that way. Unless you want her family to finish what they started. Understanding dawned on Amanda's face. The husband. I heard him on the phone earlier talking about moving her to some facility. He sounded wrong. Exactly, Mia said. So now you have a choice. Are you with us or not? Amanda straightened her scrubs. What do you need? With another ally, our night sessions became more productive. Amanda would watch the halls, while David pushed me harder in therapy. Within days, I could stand unassisted for several minutes. But our progress wasn't fast enough. Jocelyn arrived one morning with urgent news. They're meeting with Leon today, she said, pacing my room. Pierce cracked under pressure and told Rose everything. She's demanding more money to stay quiet. My hand twitched toward Mia's phone on the bedside table. She helped me type, What about the transfer? Your mother's pushing for it. The new facility is suspicious. Very isolated. Limited visiting hours. Jocelyn's face darkened. We can delay it legally for maybe 3 days, but after that... A knock interrupted us. Through the window, I saw Pierce himself standing awkwardly in the hallway. Jocelyn quickly assumed her medical consultant pose as he entered. I brought flowers, he said, not meeting anyone's eyes. His hands shook as he placed them on the windowsill. After he left, Mia checked the bouquet. There's a note, she said, unfolding a small paper. Her eyes widened as she read it. What? Jocelyn demanded. I'm sorry, Mia read. Check the brake fluid report, page 3. Jocelyn was already on her phone, typing furiously. Got it. The lab analysis. Holy shit. The brake lines weren't just cut. They were tampered with over time. Gradually. Someone who had regular access to your car. Nico, I whispered. And there's more, she continued scrolling. Traces of the same corrosive substance were found in the garage at Rose's apartment complex. The pieces clicked together. Rose and Nico had planned it together, using Pierce as their unwitting accomplice. Now, Pierce was growing a conscience. That night, during therapy, my legs gave out. I crashed to the floor, tears of frustration burning my eyes. Get up, David said firmly. You can do this. They're going to kill me, I gasped. Once I'm in that facility. Then we don't let them get you there, Mia said, helping me up. Amanda overheard your mother making the transfer arrangements for Friday morning. 2 days, I managed, gripping the walking frame. Not enough time. It has to be, David insisted. Again. We worked through the night. By morning, I could walk the length of the room with just a cane. It wasn't pretty, but it was movement. Nico visited that afternoon, bringing his usual false cheer and a cup of coffee that he sipped while checking his phone. Good news, honey, he said. We found a wonderful facility, very peaceful. You'll be so well cared for there. I wanted to smash that coffee cup into his perfect teeth. Instead, I lay still, gathering intelligence as he made calls. Everything's set, he told someone. Friday morning. Yes, Rose, I know. Just keep Pierce quiet for 2 more days. The insurance papers are ready. Once it's done, we'll have everything we need. After he left, Mia burst in. Your mother's meeting Leon in an hour. Jocelyn's already there, wired for sound. I gripped the bedsheet, mind racing. 2 days. 2 days to master walking, to gather our evidence, to prepare for whatever they had planned. Tonight, I said firmly. We do the full hallway. Mia nodded. I'll tell David. And Caitlin? She squeezed my hand. We won't let them win. Neither would I. Because while they plotted my quiet disposal, they had no idea I was plotting something too, their complete and very public destruction. Thursday morning arrived with a flurry of activity. My mother swept in early, trailing expensive perfume and false concern, accompanied by Dr. Roberts and 2 facility representatives. "We'll handle all the arrangements," she assured them. "My daughter will receive the best care possible." Through barely open eyes, I watched them examine me like a piece of furniture being appraised for moving. "The facility has excellent security," one representative said. "Very private, no unauthorized visitors." "Perfect," my mother replied. "That's exactly what we need." The moment they left, Mia slipped in. "Jocelyn's here. Something big happened." Jocelyn entered, practically vibrating with nervous energy. "Pierce came clean," she whispered. "Completely clean. Signed a full confession this morning." My fingers twitched toward the phone. Mia helped me type. "Why?" "Rose dumped him. Threatened to pin everything on him. He panicked." Jocelyn pulled out her tablet. "Listen to this." Pierce's voice, shaky but clear, filled the room. "It started 6 months ago. Nico was in trouble, bad investments, hidden debt. He knew about Caitlin's trust fund, but couldn't access it. Then Rose suggested. She said if Caitlin was incapacitated, they could take control. Make it look like an accident." My hands clenched into fists. "They used my garage," Pierce continued. "Rose worked at a chemical lab. She knew what to use on the brake lines. Something that would look like normal wear and tear. Nico would bring Caitlin's car in for maintenance when she was working late. I thought they were just going to hurt her enough for the power of attorney. I didn't know about the medication." Jocelyn stopped the recording. "He's working with the police now. They're building a case, but they need more time. If we can just delay the transfer tomorrow." A commotion in the hallway cut her off. Nico's voice raised in anger. "What do you mean he confessed? Where is he?" "Quick!" Mia hissed, helping Jocelyn hide in the bathroom just as Nico burst in. He paced the room, phone pressed to his ear. "Listen to me, Rose. Calm down. No, don't leave town. Just stick to the plan. Once she's in the facility." "Yes, I'll handle Pierce." After he stormed out, Jocelyn emerged. "They're desperate now. They'll try something tonight." "Then we move now," I whispered. Mia nodded, already texting David. Within minutes, he arrived with the walking frame. "Show me," I demanded. For the next hour, they helped me walk, turn, even manage a few steps without support. Each movement was agony, but determination burned hotter than pain. "Your mother's coming back," Amanda warned, poking her head in. "With the doctor." "Quick," Mia said, helping me back to bed. "Jocelyn, the closet." I settled into my practice stillness just as they entered. "We should start the sedation tonight," Dr. Roberts was saying. "Make tomorrow's transfer easier." "Whatever you think is best," my mother replied smoothly. After they left, Mia checked my chart. "They've ordered new medication, strong sedatives." "They're not taking chances," Jocelyn said, emerging from hiding. "If you're going to make a move, it has to be tonight." "The trust meeting," I managed to say. "Tomorrow morning." Jocelyn's eyes lit up. "Leon's office. They're all gathering to finalize the paperwork before the transfer. 9 a.m. "Perfect," I whispered. We spent the next hours preparing. David worked me harder than ever, while Mia and Amanda gathered supplies. Jocelyn coordinated with Leon, setting our trap. At midnight, Nico returned. He stood by my bed for a long time, just watching. "I'm sorry it had to be this way," he said finally. "But you never would have given me what I needed. Tomorrow, it'll all be over." He leaned down to kiss my forehead. It took everything I had not to recoil. After he left, Mia helped me up. "Ready?" I gripped the walking frame. "One more time. Full circuit." We practiced until dawn. By morning, I could walk well enough to make an entrance, if not a graceful one. It would have to be enough. Jocelyn arrived early with clothes, a black pantsuit I'd worn to court countless times. "Your armor," she said with a grim smile. As Mia helped me dress, Amanda kept watch. "They're preparing the transfer documents now," she reported. "Your mother's already left for the meeting." I looked in the mirror, seeing myself clearly for the first time in weeks. I was thinner, paler, but my eyes burned with purpose. "The car's waiting downstairs," Jocelyn said. "Leon's keeping them busy until we arrive." I gripped my cane, not just for support now, but as a weapon of sorts. They thought they were gathering to seal my fate. Instead, they were walking into their own destruction. "Let's go," I said, taking my first step toward revenge. It's time they saw a ghost. Leon's office building loomed before us, all glass and steel. Jocelyn parked in the underground garage, away from the main entrance. "They're all here," she said, checking her phone. "Leon's stalling them with paperwork details." My legs trembled as I stepped out of the car. Mia steadied me, adjusting my suit jacket. "Remember, short steps. Don't push too hard." The service elevator took us to the 10th floor. Through the glass walls of the conference room, I could see them. Nico standing by the window, my mother examining documents, my father sitting quietly. Rose paced nervously, while Pierce stared at his hands. Leon sat at the head of the table, deliberately taking his time reviewing each page. "Ready," Jocelyn whispered, holding up her phone. "Everything's recording." I nodded, gripping my cane tighter. "The signature pages are quite clear," Leon was saying as we approached. "Once Mrs. Morrison is declared legally incompetent—" "Which she is," my mother interrupted. "The doctors have confirmed—" "Actually," I said, pushing open the door, "they haven't." The silence was absolute. 6 faces turned to me, frozen in various stages of shock. Nico's coffee cup slipped from his hand, shattering on the floor. "Caitlin," my father whispered. "Impossible," my mother breathed. "You're paralyzed? Comatose? Or just conveniently unable to stop you from stealing my inheritance?" I stepped forward, each click of my cane on the hardwood floor like a gunshot. Rose bolted for the door. Jocelyn blocked her path. "Sit down," she ordered. "You'll want to hear this." "How—" Nico started, then caught himself. "Darling, you should be in the hospital. You're not well." "Play it," I told Jocelyn. She pressed play on her phone. Nico's voice filled the room. "The medication should have been enough." "No, listen to me, Pierce. We need to move faster." Color drained from his face. Pierce put his head in his hands. "Oh, there's more," I said, nodding to Leon. He pressed a button on his desk phone. "Send them in." 2 police detectives entered, followed by a man in a lab coat. "Dr. Phillips," the detective said, "please explain what you found in Mrs. Morrison's toxicology report." The doctor opened his file. Elevated levels of multiple sedatives, far exceeding prescribed doses. Additionally, traces of chemicals consistent with brake line corrosion were found in samples from the victim's garage. "Interesting timing," I said, watching Nico's face. "Right before my accident, when you were doing all that helpful car maintenance." "You can't prove anything," my mother snapped, but her voice shook. "Actually," Leon interjected, "we can. Pierce's confession this morning was quite detailed, and Rose's lab access records make fascinating reading." Rose crumpled in her chair. "Nico promised no one would get hurt. It was just supposed to be enough to get control of the trust." "Shut up!" Nico shouted, lunging toward her. The detectives moved quickly, restraining him. "Nicholas Morrison," the detective began, "you're under arrest for attempted murder, conspiracy to commit fraud." "You bitch," my mother spat at me, "after everything we've done for you." "Everything you've done?" I stepped closer, my voice low. "Like trying to kill me for money? Like planning to drug me into submission in some hidden facility?" "Delaney and Rodney Summers," the second detective said. You're also under arrest. Rose Mann, Pierce Lucas, you'll need to come with us as well. As they were led away in handcuffs, my mother turned back. You'll regret this. Family is all you have. No, I said firmly. Family is supposed to love you, not try to murder you for money. The only thing I regret is not seeing through you sooner. After they were gone, I finally allowed my legs to give out. Jocelyn helped me into a chair while Mia checked my pulse. You did it, Leon said, smiling. Your grandmother would be proud. The trust? I asked. Safe, he confirmed. And with the evidence we've gathered, they won't see a penny of it. Or anything else, for that matter. Prison tends to limit one's financial options. Mia handed me water. The hospital's expecting you back, but this time as a regular patient, not a prisoner. I nodded, exhausted but satisfied. What happens now? Now, Jocelyn said, gathering the evidence files. You focus on healing. Let the lawyers handle the rest. Looking around the conference room where my family had planned to seal my fate, I felt strangely empty. Victory tasted different than I'd imagined. Less sweet, more complex. But as Mia helped me up, I caught my reflection in the window. I was standing, breathing, living, and that was the greatest revenge of all. The courthouse buzzed with tension. 3 months after the arrests, I sat in the front row, my cane resting against my knee, watching my family file in wearing orange jumpsuits. All rise, the bailiff called. Nico wouldn't look at me as he passed. My mother, on the other hand, stared directly at me, her face a mask of cold fury. My father kept his eyes on the floor. The defendants will remain standing, Judge Harrison ordered. Before we proceed with sentencing, would any of you like to address the court? Pierce spoke first, his voice trembling. I'm sorry. I knew it was wrong, but I was a coward. I deserve whatever punishment I get. Rose tried next, tears streaming down her face. I never meant for anyone to get hurt. Nico said it would be simple. Lying bitch! Nico suddenly exploded, lunging against his restraints. You're the one who suggested the brake lines. Order! The judge's gavel cracked like thunder. My mother stood straighter. I have something to say. She turned to face me. Everything I did was for this family. You were always ungrateful, always thinking you knew better, just like your grandmother. Mrs. Summers, the judge warned. You think you've won? She continued, ignoring him. You've destroyed this family. Are you happy now? I gripped my cane and pushed myself to my feet. No, Mother, I'm not happy. I'm alive, despite your best efforts. The judge cleared his throat. Having reviewed all evidence and considering the severity of these crimes, this court sentences the defendants as follows. He addressed each one individually. Pierce and Rose received 5 years each for conspiracy. My father got 8 years for his role. My mother and Nico both received 20 years for attempted murder and conspiracy. You'll pay for this, Nico snarled as they led him away. You think it's over? I'll... Remove the defendant, the judge ordered. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. Jocelyn helped shield me from their cameras while Mia brought the car around. Ms. Morrison, they called. How does it feel to see your family convicted? Will you write a book about your experience? Any comment on the inheritance that sparked this tragedy? I paused at the top of the steps. My only comment is this. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, it probably is. And real family doesn't try to kill you for money. Back at my apartment, a new one, with better security, David was waiting to start our therapy session. You're pushing yourself too hard, he observed as I struggled with the walking exercises. I need to be stronger, I insisted. You're already stronger than anyone I know, he replied, but healing takes time. Later that evening, Leon visited with final paperwork. The trust is completely secure now, he said, spreading documents across my coffee table. "And I've arranged for the sale of your parents' house, as requested. The proceeds will go to a foundation for victims of family fraud." "Good," I said, signing where he indicated. "What about Nico's business assets?" "Liquidated. His partner bought everything at auction." "Oh, and this came for you." He handed me an envelope. Inside was a letter from Pierce, written from prison. "I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I want you to know the whole truth. I've attached records of every conversation, every meeting. Maybe it will help you understand." A knock at the door interrupted my reading. It was Amanda, off her hospital shift. "Brought you something," she said, holding up a bag. "Real food, not that hospital garbage." As we sat eating takeout, my phone buzzed with a text from Jocelyn. "Turn on the news." The headline scrolled across the screen. "Prominent family's murder plot exposed. Daughter's incredible story of survival." "They're calling you an inspiration," Amanda said. I switched off the TV. "I don't feel inspiring. I feel tired." "That's allowed," Mia said, arriving for her evening visit. "You've been through hell." "But you crawled out," David added, joining us with his therapy equipment. "Ready for your evening session?" I nodded, gripping my cane. Each step was still a battle, but a different kind now. Not a fight for survival, but for healing. "Your grandmother would be proud," Leon said quietly. Looking around at these people, my new family, chosen rather than born into, I felt something shift inside me. The anger that had fueled my revenge was fading, replaced by something else. Not peace exactly, but purpose. "Time to stand up again," David encouraged. So I did, leaving my cane behind. One step at a time, moving forward. Because that's what survivors do. We keep walking, even when the path ahead is uncertain. And sometimes, that's the greatest victory of all. The autumn wind rustled through the cemetery as I placed fresh flowers on my grandmother's grave. My steps were steady now, the cane long since retired to a corner of my apartment. "You were right about everything," I told her headstone. "I should have listened sooner." "She knew you'd figure it out eventually," Leon said, standing respectfully behind me. "That's why she left you the trust." A twig snapped nearby. I turned to see Rose, thinner and paler than I remembered, recently released from prison. "I didn't know anyone would be here," she said, clutching a small bouquet. "I can go—" "Stay," I said. "She was your grandmother too." Rose placed her flowers next to mine. "I got your letters, the ones you sent to the prison. I never answered, because— How could I?" "Why did you come today?" She wiped her eyes. "Because this is where it started, the day of the funeral, when Nico approached me about the trust. I should have said no." "But you didn't." "No, I didn't." She looked at me directly. "I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just wanted you to know that every word in Pierce's confession was true. And I'm sorry." My phone buzzed, a text from Jocelyn. "Meeting with the foundation board in 30. Where are you?" "I have to go," I told Rose. "The foundation keeps me busy." "I saw it on the news," she said. "Helping other victims of family fraud. It's good. Really good." As I turned to leave, she called after me. "Caitlin, Mother's been writing to me from prison, trying to scheme even now. Some people never change." "No," I agreed, "they don't." At the foundation's offices, Mia was waiting with coffee. She'd left nursing to become our victim advocate, using her experience to help others. "Ready for this?" she asked as we entered the boardroom. David was there, presenting a new physical therapy program for trauma survivors. Amanda had developed a hospital screening protocol to identify potential victims. Even Pierce, still in prison, contributed by video link, sharing insights into how predators chose their targets. "The support network is growing," Jocelyn reported. We've helped 20 families this month alone. Speaking of families, Leon interjected, there's something you should know. Nico's been causing trouble in prison, trying to contact other inmates' families, starting new schemes. Let him try, I said. We're watching now, all of us. That evening, I visited the hospital where it all began. Not as a patient, but as a speaker for the medical staff training program. Trust your instincts, I told them. Like Mia did, like Amanda did. You might be someone's only chance. Afterward, in the parking lot, I heard footsteps behind me. My body tensed, ready for fight or flight. Old habits die hard. But it was just a young nurse, eyes bright with tears. My sister, she said. What you described, it's happening to her right now. Can you help? That's why we're here, I said, taking out my card. Call this number, day or night. At home, I found a package waiting. Inside was my grandmother's diary, sent by a distant cousin who'd found it in storage. The final entry read, Caitlin will face challenges. They'll try to break her. But she has something they don't understand. The strength to stand alone. And when she finds her true family, the ones who choose her, she'll be unstoppable. My phone lit up with messages. Mia sharing success stories from today's support group. David sending videos of his patient's progress. Amanda reporting suspicious patterns she'd noticed at work. Jocelyn planning our next legal advocacy campaign. A new message popped up. From Pierce. Another inmate approached me. Said Nico offered him a deal. I'm reporting it to the warden, but thought you should know. I smiled grimly. Let Nico plot. Let my mother scheme. They didn't understand that they'd given me something invaluable, the knowledge that I could survive anything. And I wasn't alone anymore. The doorbell rang. My new family arrived for our weekly dinner tradition. Mia, David, Amanda, Jocelyn, Leon. Even Rose, tentatively accepting her first invitation. To survival, Mia toasted. To justice, Jocelyn added. To family, I said. The ones we choose. Looking around at these faces, the nurse who believed me, the therapist who helped me stand, the lawyer who fought for me, the friends who became more than blood ever was, I finally felt it. Not just survival, not just justice, peace. Because sometimes the family you're born with shows you exactly what you don't want to be. And the family you build shows you exactly who you were meant to become.
The smell of burning toast yanks me from sleep, and for a moment I'm disoriented, thinking Jake's making breakfast again. Then reality crashes in. Jake hasn't made me breakfast in 8 months. He's probably making breakfast for Lily now. I stumble to the kitchen, cursing as I rescue the blackened bread from my temperamental toaster. The autumn sun streams through my apartment windows, catching the diamond on my left hand, the one I still can't bring myself to remove. 5 years of marriage reduced to a sparkly reminder of everything I've lost. My phone buzzes. It's Valerie, my one remaining ally at Townsend Corp. Vienna, you need to see this. Check your email now. I pull up my inbox and there it is. The company-wide announcement complete with a photo that makes my stomach lurch. Jake and Lily beaming at their surprise weekend wedding. My husband, ex-husband, and my best friend of 15 years, looking like they've just won the lottery of life. Did you know? Valerie's voice is gentle. About them. No? The word comes out as a whisper. I knew they'd been spending time together after everything. Lily said she was just helping him through the divorce. I laugh, but it sounds hollow even to my ears. Guess she was helping herself to my husband. There's more, Valerie says. Keep reading. I scroll down, my hands shaking. Beneath the wedding announcement is a promotion notice. Effective immediately, Lily Townsend now, is being appointed Chief Strategy Officer. My old position. The one I built from nothing over 12 years before Jake orchestrated my voluntary resignation during our divorce. The retreat's tomorrow, Valerie continues. They'll both be there. The whole executive team will. the annual leadership retreat. I'd forgotten. Last year, I'd led the opening keynote. This year, I wasn't even invited. I can't avoid them forever, I say, more to myself than Valerie. Might as well face them now. Vienna. Valerie hesitates. Maybe you shouldn't. I'm still a shareholder. I cut in. I have every right to be there. After hanging up, I stand in front of my closet, pushing past the comfortable work-from-home clothes I've lived in since leaving Townsend. At the back hangs the red power suit I wore the day I closed the Morrison deal, the biggest acquisition in company history. Lily had been so proud of me that day. We'd celebrated with champagne in my office, plotting our rise through the corporate ranks together. We'll run this place someday, she'd said, clinking her glass against mine. The dynamic duo. Some duo we turned out to be. The suit still fits perfectly. I spend extra time on my makeup, erasing any trace of the sleepless nights and tears. The woman in the mirror looks powerful, controlled. No one would guess she's breaking inside. The retreat venue is a luxury resort, an hour outside the city. I time my arrival perfectly, late enough to miss the morning mingling, early enough to slip into the back of the main presentation room just as Jake takes the stage. He looks good. Of course he does. He's practically glowing as he welcomes everyone, making the same terrible jokes that used to make me groan affectionately. A few rows ahead, Lily sits in my old seat, nodding along. She's wearing the Cartier bracelet I noticed on her wrist months ago. She'd said it was a gift from her parents. Now I wonder if it was from Jake all along. My presence creates a ripple of whispers. Jake falters mid-sentence when he spots me, but recovers quickly. Too quickly, like he's been practicing for this moment. After his speech during the coffee break, Lily approaches. She's wearing the confident smile I taught her to use in tough negotiations. Vienna, I'm so glad you came. She reaches for a hug like nothing has changed. I step back. Congratulations, I say coolly. On everything. I wanted to tell you myself, but it all happened so fast. Her smile slips slightly. You understand, don't you? Sometimes life just takes unexpected turns. Over her shoulder, I see Jake watching us, his expression unreadable. Lily follows my gaze and something flickers across her face. Guilt. Fear. Before I can process it, she's composed again. We should catch up properly, she says. There's so much to discuss. Yes, I agree, matching her smile with one of my own. So much. She turns to leave but pauses. That suit, isn't that what you wore for the Morrison deal? Good memory. Those were simpler times, weren't they? There's an edge to her voice I've never heard before. Back when we thought we knew what we wanted, she walks away, leaving me with the distinct feeling that I've missed something crucial. That beneath the perfect facade of their fairy tale romance and corporate success lies a story I don't yet understand. But I will. Oh, I will. The rain hasn't stopped for 3 days. I'm staring out my home office window when the email arrives. Its cheerful subject line a stark contrast to its contents. Organizational restructuring. Important updates. My hands don't shake this time. Maybe I've been expecting this since the retreat, since I saw the way Jake and Lily exchanged glances when they thought no one was watching. The message is corporate poetry, flowery language about streamlining operations and optimizing leadership structures. But the meaning is clear. My consulting contract with Townsend Corp is terminated, effective immediately. Valerie calls before I've finished reading. I just heard. Those bastards. Tell me what's really happening in there. I keep my voice steady, professional, like I'm discussing someone else's life falling apart. It's worse than we thought. Lily's been meeting with the board privately. She's dismantling your entire division, piece by piece. Everyone you hired, every project you started, she's either killing it or claiming it as her own vision. I think of Mia, the bright-eyed intern I'd mentored last summer. Of Paisley, who'd worked miracles to land us the Asian market expansion. What about the team? Some are being relocated. Others. Valerie's silence says enough. My throat tightens. She's destroying everything I built. There's something else. Valerie lowers her voice. I overheard Jake and Lily arguing in his office yesterday. She was upset about some documents he wanted her to sign. Something about transferring shares before the quarter ends. A memory surfaces Jake 2 years ago explaining his elaborate plan to restructure company ownership. I'd thought he was protecting our future. Now I wonder if he'd been plotting my exit even then. My doorbell rings, interrupting my thoughts. Through the peephole, I see Lily, rain-soaked and looking nothing like the polished executive from the retreat. I know you're in there, Vienna. Her voice is thick. Please, 5 minutes. I should ignore her. Instead, I open the door. She steps inside, water dripping onto my hardwood floors. I had to explain in person. About the contract. Save it. I cross my arms. I'm sure the board had very compelling reasons. It wasn't my decision. She runs a hand through her wet hair. Jake insisted. He said keeping you connected to the company was too risky. Risky? I laugh. I built half that company. You don't understand. There are things happening, decisions being made. She stops, biting her lip. I never wanted any of this. Really? Because from where I'm standing, you've gotten everything you wanted. My husband, my job, my life. Your life. Her eyes flash. You think I wanted to be Jake's backup plan? His consolation prize after you? She cuts herself off. After I what? Nothing, forget it. She moves toward the door, then pauses. Check your old files. The Morrison deal documentation. There's something you need to see. Before I can respond, she's gone, leaving only wet footprints and questions. I spend the next 3 hours digging through archived emails and digital folders. At first, I find nothing unusual in the Morrison acquisition paperwork, just standard contracts and due diligence reports. Then I notice something odd. The final ownership structure doesn't match my original proposal. Somewhere between my draft and the executed version, key percentages shifted. Control of certain assets moved between shell companies I don't recognize. My phone rings. Unknown number. Vienna. The voice is familiar but unexpected. It's Andy. Andy Gibson. We met at the Thompson conference last year. Andy Gibson, the venture capitalist who'd tried to poach me for his firm before everything fell apart. I heard about your contract, he continues, and I've been watching Townsend's recent moves. Very interesting patterns emerging. I think of Lily's cryptic warning, the modified documents. What kind of patterns? The kind that could be very valuable to someone with the right insight. Someone like you. He pauses. Have dinner with me tomorrow. We should discuss your future. After we hang up, I sit in the growing darkness, listening to the rain. On my laptop screen, financial statements and ownership diagrams glow like a puzzle waiting to be solved. Jake always said I was brilliant at seeing patterns others missed, at finding leverage in unexpected places. Time to prove him right. I open my safe and pull out a small red notebook, the one where I used to track my most sensitive business insights. The last entry is from 8 months ago, the day before Jake asked for a divorce. On a fresh page, I write a single sentence. To destroy a castle, first find its foundation. The scent of espresso mingles with expensive cologne as Andy slides into the booth across from me. Le Petit Bistrot. His choice, private enough for secrets, public enough to seem innocent. You look better than at the retreat, he says, studying me over his menu. You were there? Back row, watching Jake's performance. His smile is sharp. And yours. The waiter arrives. Andy orders for both of us in perfect French, then pulls out his phone, sliding it across the table. On the screen is a financial news article about Townsend Corp's upcoming merger talks. Notice anything interesting? He asks. I scan the piece, my pulse quickening as I spot it. The timing of the merger discussions aligns perfectly with when Jake first suggested our divorce, when he started spending late nights at the office with Lily. They needed me gone before this went public, I say slowly. But why? Because you would have seen what they're trying to hide. Andy leans forward. The merger's a cover. They're really preparing for a hostile takeover of Morrison Industries, the same company from my biggest deal. the acquisition that made my career and apparently planted the seeds of its destruction. That's why they modified the original ownership structure, I murmur. They were laying groundwork, even then. Smart girl. Andy's eyes gleam. Here's the interesting part. I've been quietly buying Townsend shares, with your insider knowledge and my capital. He lets the implication hang. Our food arrives. I push my salmon around the plate, mind racing. What's your angle? Maybe I just enjoy watching arrogant men fall, he shrugs. Or maybe Morrison's board would be very grateful to whoever prevents this takeover. Grateful enough to offer a certain displaced executive a fresh start. My phone buzzes. Valerie. I excuse myself to take the call in the restaurant's elegant bathroom. Where are you? She demands. Lily's been asking questions about your old files. She seems scared. I'm having dinner with Andy Gibson. Silence. Then, be careful, Vienna. Andy's not exactly known for his loyalty. Neither was my best friend. I catch my reflection in the mirror, cheeks flushed, eyes bright with possibility. Besides, what do I have to lose? Back at the table, Andy's typing on his laptop. Just sent you some documents, proof of what they're planning. Look them over tonight. And if I'm interested? We move fast. I have other investors ready. He closes his laptop. But first, you'll need to talk to someone. Get some additional leverage. Who? Ria, my sister. He writes an address on his napkin. She handles certain sensitive aspects of my business. Meet her tomorrow. Later that night, I pore over Andy's documents. The takeover plan is brilliant in its complexity and familiar. I recognize Jake's strategic fingerprints, but there's something else. Something that reminds me of late-night strategy sessions with Lily, when we'd dream up elaborate corporate maneuvers over wine and takeout. My doorbell rings. Again, Lily stands there, but this time she's stone sober and angry. Are you insane? She burst past me. Having dinner with Andy Gibson? Do you know what Jake will do if... If what? I step closer. If he finds out I know about the Morrison takeover? She pales. You don't understand what you're dealing with. Then explain it to me. You owe me that much. I can't. Her voice cracks. God, Vienna, I wish... She stops, composing herself. Just stay away from Andy, please, for your own safety. Like you stayed away from Jake? She flinches as if I'd slapped her. That was different. I never meant... It wasn't supposed to happen like this. How was it supposed to happen? Instead of answering, she pulls something from her bag. A USB drive. Everything you need to know is here. But Vienna? Her eyes meet mine. Once you look at this, there's no going back. After she leaves, I stare at the drive for a long time. Finally, I plug it in. The files are encrypted, but I recognize the format. It's the same encryption Jake and I used for our most confidential documents. He'd taught me the password structure himself, late one night in bed. My fingers hover over the keyboard as I remember his words. The best passwords are things only you would know, moments that changed everything. I type in the date of our first kiss. Access denied. The date we met. Access denied. I close my eyes thinking, what moment really changed everything? Then I know. I type in the date of the Morrison deal closing. The files open, and suddenly I understand why Jake wanted me gone, why Lily looks haunted, why Andy's really interested. This isn't just about a takeover. It's about what happened 3 years ago when we all made choices we couldn't undo. And now those choices are coming back to destroy us all. The city roars 20 stories below as I wait in Andy's sister's office. Ria Gibson looks nothing like her brother. Where he's all polished charm, she's raw energy, sprawled in her chair with combat boots on her desk. So you're the one who made my brother cancel his vacation, she grins. The files were enlightening, weren't they? My hands clench around my coffee cup. How did you know about the USB drive? Please. She waves dismissively. Lily's been my client for months. Who do you think helped her encrypt those files? The coffee turns bitter in my mouth. You're working with Lily? I work with anyone who pays. Ria leans forward. But right now, I'm more interested in working with you. Because you found something in those files that even Lily doesn't know about, didn't you? She's right. Hidden in the documentation was evidence of a second set of transactions, ones that occurred right after the Morrison deal closed. Money moved through offshore accounts, ultimately landing in a trust controlled by Jake's family. The Morrison acquisition wasn't just business, I say quietly. It was personal. Jake's family had been trying to take control of Morrison for generations. My deal finally gave them their chance. And you never suspected? I thought I was just good at my job. I laugh hollowly. Turns out I was just a convenient tool, the ambitious wife who could make deals happen without asking too many questions. Now you're asking questions. Ria's eyes gleam. But are you ready for the answers? She pulls up documents on her tablet, bank statements, emails, phone records. A web of connections between Jake's family and key players at Morrison, stretching back decades. Your husband's been playing a very long game, she says. And Lily, she's not just his new wife, she's his family's insurance policy. What do you mean? Her father sits on Morrison's board. The marriage ensures his cooperation in the upcoming takeover. Ria pauses. She didn't tell you that part, did she? My mind spins. Lily's father, the quiet man who'd attended our wedding, who'd always seemed so proud of our friendship. Another piece of the manipulation. Why are you showing me this? Because unlike my brother, I believe in informed decisions. Ria closes her tablet. Andy wants to use you to stop the takeover, but he doesn't care about collateral damage, about who gets hurt. Like Paisley, who still works at Townsend. Like Mia, the intern who reminds me so much of myself at that age. My phone buzzes, speaking of Paisley. Her message makes my blood freeze. Emergency board meeting called for next week. They're moving faster than expected. I need to protect my people, I tell Ria, before everything explodes. Then you'll need this. She hands me a thumb drive. Contact details for everyone involved in the original Morrison deal, including some who might be interested in preventing history from repeating. I stand to leave, but she catches my arm. Vienna, remember, Lily came to you with those files for a reason. Maybe she's not just Jake's insurance policy. Maybe she's looking for insurance of her own. That afternoon, I meet Valerie in a coffee shop far from the office. Her face is drawn with worry. They're pushing people out, she says. Anyone who might question the takeover. Paisley's being transferred to the Singapore office next month. Unless we stop it. I show her the thumb drive. I need you to help me contact these people carefully, through secure channels only. She studies me. This is dangerous, Vienna. If Jake finds out, he already took everything from me. I grip my coffee cup tighter. What else can he do? He can destroy your reputation. Make sure you never work in this industry again. Maybe. I think of Lily's haunted eyes, of Ria's revelations. But I'm done being afraid of what Jake might do. It's time to show him what I can do. My phone lights up with a text from an unknown number. Meet tonight, 8 p.m., the place where it all started. I know exactly where. The small bar where Jake first introduced me to Lily, 15 years ago. Where our friendship began, before ambition and betrayal poisoned everything. I have to go, I tell Valerie. But first, I need you to do something. Get a message to Paisley. Tell her to delay accepting that transfer. Things are about to change. Walking to my car, I call Andy. I'm in, but we do this my way. No collateral damage. Whatever you say, boss. His smile is audible. Just remember, once we start, there's no going back. I think of the young woman I was, celebrating my friendship with Lily in that bar, of the wife I became believing in Jake's love, of the executive I am now, finally seeing the whole board clearly. Good, I say, because going back isn't an option anymore. The bar looks exactly the same. Dark wood, brass fixtures, the perpetual smell of lime and whiskey. Lily's already there, perched on the same stool where we first met, when Jake introduced his two favourite women and unknowingly set this whole tragedy in motion. I wasn't sure you'd come, she says as I slide onto the stool beside her. I almost didn't. I order a Manhattan, my drink from simpler days. But I want to hear you explain why your father's involvement in Morrison wasn't worth mentioning. She flinches. How did you... Does it matter? What matters is you're still lying, still playing both sides. You think I wanted this? Her voice cracks. My father's dying, Vienna. Pancreatic cancer. Jake's family promised to take care of him, to make sure he dies with dignity instead of drowning in medical debt. All I had to do was... She trails off. Marry Jake. Help destroy me. Help save the company, she corrects. The Morrison takeover isn't just about power, it's about survival. Townsend Corp is bleeding money. The merger rumours are keeping the stock price up, but once people realise the truth... My drink arrives. I take a long sip, letting the bourbon burn. And what is the truth? Jake's family. They're not just taking over Morrison. They're going to strip both companies for assets. Thousands will lose their jobs. She leans closer, including Paisley, Mia, everyone you tried to protect. Why tell me this now? Because I found something. She glances around before continuing. Evidence that Jake's family has done this before. Multiple times. They target companies, install their people, then destroy everything for profit. But if this evidence got into the right hands, like the SEC, like Andy Gibson, her eyes meet mine. I know you're working with him, but Vienna, he's not what you think. He's... The bar's door chimes. Lily goes pale. I turn to see Jake walking in, his face a mask of calculated calm. Well, isn't this cozy? He slides in between us, ordering scotch. My wife and my ex-wife, sharing secrets. Just catching up, I say smoothly. Reminiscing about old times. Old times. He smiles, but it doesn't reach his eyes. Like when you two would plot takeovers over cocktails, or more recent times, like Lily accessing confidential files she shouldn't have. Lily's hand trembles as she reaches for her drink. Jake catches her wrist, his grip visibly tight. The board meeting's been moved up, he continues conversationally. Tomorrow morning, and my family's very interested in knowing exactly what you two have been discussing. Let her go, Jake. My voice is steel. You've done enough damage. Damage? He laughs. I gave you everything, both of you. Power, position, purpose. And how do you repay me? By conspiring with Andy Gibson? We know about the other companies, Lily bursts out. What your family did to them. Of course you do, he releases her wrist. Why do you think I married you? Your father's position was valuable, but your predictable moral outrage, priceless. You bastard, I whisper. No, Vienna. I'm a businessman. And tomorrow, when the board approves the Morrison acquisition, you'll both understand exactly what that means. He stands, straightening his tie. Oh, and don't bother calling Andy. He's been well compensated for his cooperation. After he leaves, Lily and I sit in stunned silence. He knew, she finally says. He knew everything. We played right into his hands. My mind races. If Andy's compromised, our entire plan is blown. The board meeting's in 12 hours, thousands of jobs hang in the balance. My phone buzzes, Rhea. Heard about Andy? Don't panic. Remember what I said about insurance policies? Then another text from Paisley. Got your message. Singapore transfer declined. Ready to help however needed. And finally, Valerie. Emergency meeting in my apartment. Now, bringing reinforcements. I look at Lily, seeing not the woman who betrayed me, but the friend who tried to warn me, who's still trying to make things right. Jake's right about one thing, I tell her. We were good at plotting takeovers together. What are you saying? I'm saying we have 12 hours to save everything we built, but this time we do it our way. I stand holding out my hand. You in? She stares at my offered hand, tears in her eyes. Why would you trust me after everything? Because you're not the only one who knows how to plan for betrayal. I smile grimly. And Jake's about to learn what happens when he underestimates both of us. She takes my hand, gripping it tight. Where do we start? With the truth. All of it. And then we show Jake what real businesswomen can do. Valerie's apartment buzzes with tense energy at midnight. Laptops glow, papers scatter across every surface, and 5 women who should be enemies sit planning revolution. The board meets in 8 hours. Valerie says, refilling coffee cups. Run it down again. I stand before our makeshift war room. Jake thinks he's got us cornered. He doesn't know about Paisley documenting every suspicious transaction for the past 6 months. Paisley looks up from her laptop. Or about Mia copying the internal communications before they could be deleted. Or about me, Rhea adds, sprawled on the couch. The thing about being the crazy sister is nobody watches what you access. She grins. Their security system really should be updated. Lily paces by the window. But it's not enough. Jake's family has the board in their pocket. They'll vote however he tells them. Unless... Valerie hesitates. Unless we can prove they've been compromised, that they're acting against shareholder interests. My phone buzzes. A text from Andy. Last chance. Walk away now. You don't want this fight. I show it to Rhea, who snorts. My brother always did underestimate women. He has no idea I've been building a case against him for years. Why? I ask. Because some of us remember what he did to his last partner. Her eyes darken. Some fights are personal. Lily stops pacing. Jake will destroy everyone in this room if we fail. He'll destroy thousands of people if we don't try, I counter, including your father. About that? She pulls out her phone, showing us an email. Dad's not as sick as Jake's family thinks. He's been gathering evidence too. He's ready to testify about their previous takeovers. Hope flickers, but something nags at me. It's too easy. Jake's too smart to leave this many loose ends. My phone rings. Unknown number. I answer on speaker. Hello, Vienna. Jake's voice fills the room. Having a nice little meeting. Ice floods my veins. Lily goes pale. How did you... Find you? Please. You think I don't track my wife's phone? That I don't monitor Valerie's apartment? He chuckles. I must admit, I'm impressed. Getting everyone to work together, that's the Vienna I fell in love with. The one who could always see the bigger picture. What do you want? To offer you a choice. In my hand, I have 2 press releases. One announces your appointment as CEO of Morrison Industries after the takeover. Very generous compensation package. The other, well, let's just say it details some unfortunate financial irregularities during your tenure as CSO. My hands shake. You're bluffing. Am I? Check your email. The documents appear in my inbox. The evidence is manufactured but convincing. Dates, transactions, signatures, all perfect forgeries that would take months to disprove. You have 1 hour, Jake continues. Choose the CEO position and everyone in that room walks away clean. Choose to fight me and I destroy you all. Not just your careers, everything. The line goes dead. Silence descends. I feel everyone's eyes on me. He's scared, Rhea finally says. He wouldn't offer a deal if he wasn't. Or he's toying with us, Paisley counters, making us think we have a choice. Lily approaches me, her face torn. Whatever you decide, I'm with you. We all are. I stare at the email attachments. The CEO offer is everything I've worked for. Power, validation, revenge of a sort. Jake's family would have to accept me as an equal. But I think of the Jake I married, who taught me to see 3 moves ahead, who showed me that the obvious play is usually a trap. Mia, I say suddenly, the internal communications you copied, did they include Jake's personal email? She nods. Everything from the last year. Search for anything about his family's private trust, the one they used in previous takeovers. Her fingers fly across keys. Here, encrypted messages from 3 months ago, Oh, God. She turns her laptop. The emails reveal the final piece. Jake's family never intended to honor any deals. The trust is empty. They've already moved the assets. They're going to take everything, I realize. The CEO position, the company's, all of it. They'll make me the face of the destruction while they disappear with the money. 1 hour, Valerie reminds me softly. I look around the room, at Lily's determination, Rhea's fierce grin, Paisley's quiet strength, Mia's youth, Valerie's loyalty, at everything we could lose and everything we could become. I pull out my phone and dial Jake's number. Decision time, he answers. Yes, I say. but not the one you're expecting. I hit speaker and nod to Rhea, who connects her laptop to Valerie's TV. Across the screen, financial records begin to scroll, but not ours. Jake's sharp intake of breath tells me he recognizes them. The real war starts now. The boardroom feels smaller than I remember. Maybe it's the crowd. Every seat filled, reporters lining the walls, all eyes fixed on the empty chair at the head of the table. Jake's chair. "He's late," Lily whispers beside me. Her hands twist a pen nervously. "He's never late." I check my phone. No messages from Rhea or Valerie, who are positioned in the security office with Mia, ready to stream our evidence to every screen in the building. Paisley sits across the table, her laptop open, watching the trading signals. The door bursts open. Jake strides in, followed by 3 men I recognize from his family's trust. His eyes lock onto mine, and for a moment I see a flicker of the man I loved, brilliant, determined, unstoppable. Then he smiles, and he's a stranger again. "My apologies for the delay," he announces, "but I have some concerning information to share before we vote." He nods to his assistant, who begins distributing folders. Evidence has come to light of serious financial misconduct. "Actually," I stand, cutting him off, "I have something to share first." "Vienna," he warns. "Don't do this." I pick up the remote. "Did you really think I wouldn't keep copies of everything? That I wouldn't recognize your family's pattern?" The screens behind me flicker to life. Financial records scroll past, not just from Townsend Corp, but from every company his family has destroyed. Wire transfers, shell companies, offshore accounts. "The trust is empty," I continue. "Has been for months. They've already moved the money, haven't they, Jake? Just like they did with the others." Murmurs ripple through the room. Jake's family members shift uncomfortably. "These documents are clearly fabricated," Jake says smoothly. "And, given Ms. Howard's recent termination, her credibility is—" "Oh, I'm not your only problem." I nod to Paisley, who hits a key on her laptop. The trading screens explode with activity. Share prices plummet as pre-scheduled news releases hit the wire. Detailed exposés from 3 major financial publications, all launching simultaneously. "Your father taught you to see 3 moves ahead," I tell Jake, "but he never taught you to watch your back." Jake's facade cracks. "You have no idea what you're doing. The jobs you'll destroy." "Like you destroyed those other companies?" Lily stands. "Like you plan to destroy my father's legacy?" "Everything I did was for this company." Jake slams his hand on the table. "For our future." "No." I walk toward him slowly. "Everything you did was for power. The company was just collateral damage, like I was, like we all were." His family members are already edging toward the door, phones in hand. Jake sees them leaving and something breaks in his eyes. "Wait," he calls. "The vote." "Has already happened." Paisley turns her screen, showing the emergency shareholder meeting results streaming in. "While you were trying to threaten Vienna last night, we were contacting major stakeholders. Amazing how quickly they'll act when they see proof their investments are about to vanish." The boardroom doors open again. 2 SEC agents enter, followed by Rhea and Valerie. "Mr. Townsend," one agent says, "we need you to come with us." Jake looks around wildly, seeing no allies left. His gaze settles on me. "I did love you," he says quietly. "In the beginning." "I know." My voice stays steady. "That's what made it so easy to trust you, to ignore the signs. But love without respect isn't love at all." As the agents lead him out, I feel a hand slip into mine, Lily, tears streaming down her face. "Your father?" I ask. "Safe. Already gave his statement to the SEC." She squeezes my hand. "Thank you for believing in me again." Paisley approaches with her laptop. "Trading stabilized. The board's approved emergency management changes. They want to talk to you." "Us," I correct her. "They want to talk to us." The reporters surge forward, questions flying. Through the chaos, I catch glimpses of my team. Valerie's proud smile, Mia's excited texting, Rhea's satisfied smirk. Women who chose truth over power, collaboration over destruction. My phone buzzes one last time. Andy. "You win. Impressive work. Dinner sometime?" I delete the message without responding. Some bridges are better left burned. The boardroom slowly empties, leaving just our core group. Sunrise streams through the windows, painting everything in new light. The same room where I once fought so hard for Jake's approval now feels like a launching pad instead of a battlefield. So, Paisley grins, ready to rebuild? I look around at these women who risked everything to fight for what's right, who showed me that true power comes from lifting others up, not tearing them down. Yes, I say, but this time we do it together. The morning sun paints the office windows gold as I pack the last of Jake's things into boxes. His degrees, his awards, the photo of us at our wedding. All carefully wrapped in newspaper-like artifacts from another life. A knock at the door. Still cleaning house? Rhea leans against the doorframe, eyebrow raised. Just finishing. I hold up the wedding photo. Want to help me burn these later? Actually, I have something better. She drops a file on my desk. Remember how I said some fights are personal? This is why. Inside are photos of a younger Rhea with Andy, working at their first investment firm. News clippings about their meteoric rise. Then court documents. A lawsuit Andy filed to force her out, using manufactured evidence of misconduct. Jake didn't create that playbook, she says quietly. He learned it from my brother. That's why you helped us. Partly, she grins. Also thought it was time someone showed these boys how it's really done. My phone buzzes. Lily requesting a video call. When I answer, she's standing in what looks like a hospital room. Say hi to someone. She turns the camera to show her father in bed, looking tired but very much alive. The treatment's working, she says. Real treatment, not Jake's false promises. Dad's going to testify against Andy next week. Good, I smile. How's the Morrison merger going? Smoothly, now that we're doing it legitimately. Their board actually seems to trust us. She pauses. I never thought we'd be here, working together again. Neither did I. I look at the wedding photo still in my hand. Funny how betrayal can lead to truth. After we hang up, Valerie appears with coffee and a stack of reports. Paisley's team found 3 more shell companies, and Mia's developed a tracking system for suspicious transactions. Already? It's only been 2 days. She said you taught her to work fast, Valerie sits. Speaking of which, the board wants your decision by tomorrow. The CEO offer. Not Jake's fake version, but a real one, earned through merit and integrity. I'm not taking it, I say. What? I'm recommending you and Lily as co-CEOs. I hand her the proposal I've been drafting. The company needs leaders who understand both innovation and ethics, who know how to build, not just acquire. But after everything you went through to get here, I didn't go through it to get here. I went through it to learn who I am. I start unpacking my own box, not of endings, but beginnings. My red notebook, the Morrison deal documents, the photo of our team celebrating after the board meeting. And who is that? Rhea asks softly. Before I can answer, Paisley bursts in. They found him. Jake's trying to make a deal with prosecutors. Let him. I place the wedding photo in the box of his things. Some prices aren't worth paying. You're really ready to walk away? Valerie asks. From all of it. I look around the office, at Rhea's fierce loyalty, Valerie's steady presence, Paisley's brilliant determination. Through the glass walls, I see Mia at her desk, already becoming the leader I once hoped to be. I'm not walking away, I say. I'm choosing something better. We're starting a new firm. Ethics-focused consulting, helping companies grow sustainably. No predatory takeovers, no hidden agendas. Rhea raises an eyebrow. If you're interested, all of you. I pull out the business plans I've been working on. It won't be easy. We'll be competing against Jake's whole network. Good. Paisley grabs the plans. I like a challenge. Count me in, Rhea grins. About time someone disrupted the boys' club. Valerie studies me. You knew you weren't taking the CEO job all along, didn't you? I knew I didn't want to sit in the castle I'd helped build with lies. I pick up Jake's box. Sometimes winning means walking away and building something true instead. Together we carry Jake's things to the lobby. I pause at the security desk, hand the box to the guard. Have these delivered to his lawyers, I say. then turn to my team. My real team. Ready? The morning sun streams through the revolving doors as we step outside. The city feels different now. Not a battlefield, but a canvas. Not a place to conquer, but a place to create. My phone buzzes one last time. Jake's number. I decline the call without hesitation. Some castles are meant to fall, and some queens are meant to build something better than thrones.